like
No.
same excuse.
All right.
Hey guys, welcome to the Deep Threats Podcast, and we are back. It is Sunday. We have a lot of sick people on the show, so we're gonna have to change what the plan that we had today. We were gonna do the big board today, which we kind of had it set up. Johnny could probably show you the camera real quick, but we did have it set up. You might have to change Wheels cam, by the way, because I have it set as
Okay.
that.
Well, I would just mentally know.
Yeah,
and
no,
I'm just gonna have wheels on the main. So.
Yeah, so Wheels will be main. So like we had to switch it up today. We had the big board set up ready to go, but we have a couple sick hosts and / co-hosts today. So it's going to be a change of pace. And then on top of that, what we're going to do is we're going to get into some, I guess this is why we're called the Deep Threats, right? We're going to get into some deep talk about Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson, and then we're going to have some fun talk with mock today. And we're going to try to stretch it into a 2-round mock after free agency. So I'm sure me and Wheels here today will, I'm sure it'll be fun because I have to play the defensive for the day where Wheels is literally takes all my takes, so I have to go the opposite way and try to defend it. So it's
I
gonna
take
be
all your takes.
It's going to be a fun day today. I'm sure of it. And then on top of that, I think that's about it. But before we start and get into the show today, let's obviously introduce everybody. You have me, KJAM, here on the mic, and you also have Wheels, which today is my co-host / guest.
Take your vitamins, kids. Don't forget that.
Your
Thanks for
Flintstones.
showing up, everybody.
Take your Flintstones vitamins.
And then you also have our wonderful JonnyG on the mic.
What's going on, everybody?
So that's it for today. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna jump into. Let's have some fun to start the show. Let's get into the meanwhile, Johnny, and let's see what we got.
So with
Cowboys suck. I did see
March
this
Madness, we always got to poke fun at Dallas. Like they're Minnesota 2.0.
They're the redheaded stepchild.
Yes,
They're Minnesota 1.0. I think Minnesota's won more than they've ever done in the last 40 years.
that's very true. Possibly, I don't know on the top of my head, but it's always fun to poke.
Wasn't the last time Dallas won something was like 72 or something like that?
Probably. Well, no, maybe with Emmitt Smith in the 90s.
I have to look. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go and get into it.
It's always fun to talk about Dallas sucking. So I'm not into anime on this next one. I at least know what this is from, but I have no idea what it's any backstory. But apparently it's so the title is Aaron Rodgers is going to be the best Vikings quarterback of all time. First thing is I hate Titans. Apparently he turns into a Titan. The next one is I hate ghouls. He turns into a ghoul. I hate vampires. That turns into a vampire. And then Rodgers at the bottom saying, I hate Brett Favre.
Turns into Brett Favre.
And now it shows him in a Jets jersey.
That's funny. Johnny's
So-
making fun of the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers. I love it.
And if no one tuned into the last show with my outtake that
lied.
I will stay a Packers fan. I hope Rodgers is the best, but I still have to stay loyal to my team.
Oh, did you just decide on air?
No, I decided.
Oh,
I said I talked about it on Wednesday.
Oh, he decides today that he's going to root for the Green Bay Packers over Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not happy with Jordan Love, but
I love it. So now he has to sit here and be depressed until they find another quarterback.
How do you think Jordan Love feels, like
It's-
knowing the shoes he has to fill?
right.
Oh no, how do you think Jordan Love feels walking on that field every day, knowing that everybody in Green Bay hates him? Like everybody.
Yes,
Right.
it's all coming together.
They've seen him play, and they're like, he's like,
I'm gonna be so mad if he goes off because I sold one of his rookie auto cards so early on. I'm gonna be so
you know what though? Based on what I've seen, he's not going off. Like,
No.
he's so impatient in the pocket. He has zero accuracy. And
Sam
you know
Darnold.
what? Did they get a tight end though?
They
They got Gesicki, right? Or no,
no,
it was that
New England
that
got
was
Gesicki.
Patriots.
New England.
So yeah, they don't even have a.
No,
Tunyan's gone, right?
he went to Chicago.
Yeah, so they don't. So they're gonna have to draft a tight end at this point.
They better.
And the worst part is I think Chicago's had the best offseason so far too.
Yeah, no.
Who do you think
Who do you
had
think had
the
the
best offseason?
best offseason?
I think Miami did a very good job.
Miami,
Okay, I say,
Miami,
if you say Atlanta,
Miami would be
we're
second.
gonna fight because Atlanta spent $16 million.
Yeah.
But Atlanta did what the
Right.
Browns did the year that they signed Osweiler. They had to spend up some cap space.
You don't have
So
to.
yeah, you do. You have to be under a certain amount. You can't leave $70 million for next year. You can't.
Somebody should tell the MLB to do that. It'd probably be smart. Make
Well,
it
you
more
can
watchable.
roll over cap space too next year, but I think there's a limit to how much you can
Yeah.
roll over.
Right.
That would make sense. So you
but-
can't sit there and just sign every single person.
Miami would be the second team that has been the best in the offseason.
Well, if you think about it, you could technically, actually, I think the Patriots are like 2.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
Well, maybe now.
look at what they
compared
did with
to-
the tight end. Look what they did with the running back. Look
Well,
what
they
they've
got-
done with corner. Like,
well, they got rid of Jonnu, but they picked up Gesicki. They got James.
to me, that's an
Robinson.
upgrade. Gesicki's a better route runner.
Right. They picked up James Robinson that we were just talking about.
Right.
But he's gonna fill whose role? Brandon Bolden's.
James White.
He barely did.
He's going to be James White.
But he barely did anything.
James White?
Yeah. It was
James White was Belichick's favorite back.
It was Damian Harris and
No, I get that. James White
Ramondre
retired
Stevenson.
last year.
Right.
But
Yeah.
my point is, James White was Belichick's favorite
Oh yeah,
back.
I'm not disagreeing. I just don't understand. I like that Belichick uses all of his running backs. I just don't
It's
Like James Robinson has a lot left in the tank, and I just don't understand.
Well, a lot. He's
well,
25.
look at all the guys there. You got Ramondre Stevenson.
But that's what I'm saying.
Young,
But he
James,
has just Ramondre and James, and that's all you need.
I would get rid of Damian Harris. I mean,
He was hurt the majority of last year. Granted, he's not a bad back, but
They like him on the goal line. It seems
Exactly.
like because he's a big.
James
he's
Robinson
a bigger
could do
guy.
that though.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right.
saying.
Well-
James Robinson's
well,
muscle.
that's why Damian Harris, I think, should resort back to just like an actual
dude,
backup role.
James
Better-
Robinson is 24 years old.
He was
Right.
undrafted free agent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he literally played for
That just
3 years, I think, in Jacksonville.
and then Jacksonville.
And he went
shafted
off.
him.
He went off.
Yeah, I
He
had
was
him
in
fantasy.
Jacksonville. He was in Jacksonville for 2, and then Jets halfway through.
Yeah,
his
but you were
third
behind Michael Carter and Brees Hall.
Well, he only went because Brees Hall's
Yeah,
ACL.
that's right. But I forgot about that injury. Yeah,
Uh,
but no, I mean,
yeah.
that just shows you. I mean,
Bro, he was in Jacksonville for 3.
Oh,
he
was he?
slapped you across the face.
yeah, because he was drafted the year.
He played
before
14
Trevor
in
Lawrence
Jacksonville, 14 in
2019.
Jacksonville. He played 7 in Jacksonville, and apparently he played 4 on the Jets. I didn't know he played on the Jets last year.
Yeah, that's when he was traded.
Yeah, he was traded the week after.
Oh, that's
Brees
right. Yeah,
Hall's
yeah, that's
ACL
right. That's
injury.
right. That's right. So yeah, it's insanity.
Yes.
Insanity.
I mean,
And I think
I
the
did
Saints-
remember that he did get traded mid-season. I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
And the Saints got a steal with Jamal Williams.
Dude, I
He's pretty
love-
much on the same contract with Detroit, and Detroit pretty much spat in his face
Yeah.
as to the contract they offered,
Which-
from what he said.
Detroit's gonna regret it. I know they got
Oh, they
Monty.
guaranteed.
I know they got DeAndre Swift, but they're gonna regret that because
But-
that dude brought
Yeah.
so much energy to that
Because-
team.
Well, they picked up Montgomery, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so I got
I'd
this
rather have
message
Jamal.
from
Montgomery and Swift are the same guy.
I'd rather have
They
Jamal.
remind me of the
over
same. They
Montgomery.
run the same play.
so
but
I got
yeah.
this
Jamal's
screenshot
a-
from Brandon, right?
He
Okay.
he told me not to tell you on something with PFF rankings.
Well, here's the rankings, right? So best free agency
Yes.
grade.
Yeah, he told me
right?
not to tell you.
So he's got PFF has Miami Dolphins at an A, the Bengals at an A minus, the Browns at an A minus, the Detroit Lions at A minus, and Minnesota A minus. Like first things first, I love PFF. I hate PFF.
Right.
Minnesota didn't do anything but sign defensive players, and to be honest, they just needed a coach
Well,
because they had defensive talent.
but they also lost to Darius Smith.
Right. Detroit Lions, what did they do? Sign corners? They have good talent at corners. The problem
They
with that
need-
team is they need to stay healthy.
Well, that and they need to get healthy at linebacker.
I was going to say,
They
it's,
really
it's
don't.
more the
They don't have
interior.
really anybody at linebacking. I don't believe.
Well, I think they signed 2 linebackers in free
I believe so.
agency. Can you pull that up, Johnny? Because I don't have the latest.
I do
Pull it
not
up. I
either.
got spot track. Hold
Well,
on.
no, that's fine. You don't have to have the latest. You at least have what they already did.
Yeah, they signed Alex
yeah.
Anello.
Alec Anzalone as a middle linebacker.
They got.
They got
they got-
David
Okay, so
Montgomery.
like right there, Alex Anzalone, and then
And-
you have Isaiah Buggs as D line, John Kaminsky as D line, Will Harris D back, Craig. The running back thing they really didn't get better. We said it was a wash.
Right, like Craig Reynolds, don't understand that at all.
The Cam Sutton thing's a good thing for them just because of health and corners. So like, to be honest, like
The fact that they signed Craig Reynolds $3
Right.
million, they could have just saved that money, given that extra $1.5 million to Jamal and kept him.
Well, so Jamal was on a 1-year 3.75, and what he produced, setting records in Detroit.
Yeah.
And
they were gonna.
pre-
They figured he
offered
was
him-
gonna ask for 8.
Well, they offered him pretty much the same thing, or I think even less.
Right.
He
And
only
it's like, no.
he took less money to go to New England or New Orleans, I believe. Let me bring up
Well,
his contract.
I think he took the exact amount of money as David Montgomery.
3 years, $12 million, $4 million bucks a year.
Yeah.
Well,
no-
he got less than David Montgomery. David Montgomery got 3 for 18.
Well, so that and Jamal got pretty much the same contract in New Orleans.
But this is why
With incentives.
To me, I don't have the Detroit Lions at an A minus.
no.
Like I have the Detroit Lions like a C plus, maybe a B.
I guess I get it
yeah.
by the age
Because
wise.
we said they were a wash. We said that team didn't get much better outside of corner at health.
Like maybe they rank it off of like the contract structure itself too. But if you're just looking solely on who in this list, like they picked up, yeah, I would say it's a B or a C minus.
That's what I'm saying.
I like the
So-
Cameron Sutton signing. That's a good signing.
But
That's the
that's-
only
that's-
good signing
yeah, like that's
outside
it.
of making sure you have a deep running back room.
Right.
But who cares about a deep running back room because
Well, they
you
do
could-
because they never have healthy running backs.
Well, get rid of Swift.
I was
Yeah,
just-
but if you can go back. I mean, they had was it Kenyon? Not Kenyon Drake. The kid I love was it? God, I can never remember his damn name. The running backs they have always had injury issues like before.
And you loved him.
I want to say.
Well, that was
I
also,
wanted to like.
it began with a K.
It did.
But you had him.
I want to say
in fantasy
Galladay,
that
Kenny
way.
Galladay for some
No.
reason, but it's not. Kenny Galladay's a wide receiver. But yeah, like it's crazy because they've never had a healthy running back room since Ricky Williams was there. I think Ricky Williams was there for what, 2 years?
Holy shit.
And I think it was post drugs.
Kerryon Johnson.
Carry
Yeah.
on. Like, and he was injury prone. They got rid of him, and Carryon just fell off. Literally fell out of the league.
That's how I feel like. So
That's a team that needs a running back. I could see a team like that, and
Yeah.
I asked you guys that earlier at 16. Do they draft a Bijan? Because they are
do.
they are
draft Bijan.
high enough to they have 2 picks and they're high enough, or 18. They have 2 picks and they're high enough where they're above everybody that needs a running back that they would have to jump them to get Bijan.
I mean,
But do you think that they would take Bijan at 6? I do not think.
no,
no,
I say 18.
18.
Oh, yeah,
I'm saying
yeah.
18.
18,
Yeah.
yes.
No, I'm saying that but between 6 and 18, someone has to trade up and get in that spot, and they have to give up a lot to get there.
I think you trade down from 6 because you're not taking a linebacker there at 6.
No,
Unless
but
you
they
take
can still they
outside.
can go if
You need
Jalen
interior
Carter's
help.
there.
Yeah. Jalen
Like, they
Carter
might go
100%,
Jalen Carter
but
there.
You need interior interior linebacking because
Wait, you can get a linebacker in the second round.
yeah.
Johnny, what can you bring up their needs? Because I think they have a pick in the second round that's
What,
like
Detroit's?
Yeah, I think they have a pick in the second round. Was it 40?
48.
48. So like you can get a linebacker. You can get a
Yeah.
decent linebacker there out of this draft class. Because we already said most of these guys in this draft class are eh. I would almost say I might draft an offensive weapon at 48, and then go defense again at 55,
Yeah,
defense at 81, defense at 152, and then start playing around.
So the only other thing, they also, the Detroit picked up Justin Jackson from the Chargers. And Nate Sudfeld.
Oh, yeah, I remember Studfeld going there. But-
I'm sorry, these are departures, not.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I was saying they cut Sudfeld.
I didn't realize that Justin Jackson was with Detroit.
Yeah.
Detroit had a good draft last year because they got that other
Aiden
defensive
Hutchinson.
end.
They got the other D end out of like the
Right.
7th round.
yeah. Who's been he was good last year.
Yeah, for what his production was great.
Yeah.
So they really just need interior D-line.
D-line.
And you could, if you have a good front 4, you don't need a stud linebacking crew.
Oh, they picked up 2 quarterbacks, David Blow and Tim Boyle. They re-signed both of them.
I mean, it doesn't matter because you're going to go with Jared Goff and you're probably going to draft a guy way late in.
Josh Reynolds, they re-signed. They re-signed Khalif Raymond.
I could see
Garrett
someone like
Griffin.
them drafting our boy, Jake Hayner.
Really?
Like, I could see Jake Hayner going to a place like that. He's pocket passer, throws long.
Hey, he would fit the system really
fits
well.
the system.
He doesn't rush the throw. He likes to stay in the pocket, get comfortable. He sets his feet, turns
Yep.
his hips.
That's also a team that can go offensive line. They
Yeah,
can go
there's-
guard at 18.
See, the nice thing that
You trade out of
Detroit-
that 6 pick.
Yeah, Detroit's not in a quarterback needy area right now because
Right. But they're not opposed to taking a quarterback.
exactly,
they
but
said.
they're in a good time to kind of rebuild because you got Green Bay. That's most likely we're going to get into it, getting rid of Rodgers. You got 1 year left of Kirk probably, which they never can do in the
Hey,
playoffs.
Bo.
And then you got Chicago, who know what you have with them.
Bo says Bijan Robinson to the Bears. At 9?
I told you that. I think Zeke's going to the Bears.
Oh, that's a. I
That
mean, that
would
could
be-
be
that
an
would be
offensive. That actually, that's a good point. Do we have that list? Can we bring that list up, maybe?
one?
I don't think you draft Bijan at 9 because you have so many other needs on that team besides wide receiver and quarterback. Just personally, from what I see, I don't know. You're obviously a fan, so you know more about that stuff. They had a great offseason, but I still think you can add pieces here and there.
All right.
So currently
I
we
got
have Josh-
NFL. I got NFL TR, and I don't know if you can pull this up or not.
What's TR?
I don't know. I'm just saying it's NFL TR, but like what it has currently is I got wide receiver. Let me go to running back. See if I can find running back. So the highest running back. Oh, you still have Darrell Henderson. Obviously Zeke, Mike Davis, Devontae Booker, and Le'Veon Bell, but I don't know much about that. Devontae Freeman. How old is this list? I gotta check
think
this list.
so.
This is September 2022, so that's old.
I think the Bears could use another D tackle or interior defensive or another defensive line. So I could see them taking Jalen Carter at 9 if he's there.
Here we go.
if he drops out, which I have Jalen Carter going like 9 to 12. He's
Well,
almost out of my top 10.
So here, you still have Kareem Hunt, right? Which a few people said that Kareem Hunt to the Bears.
You're talking free agent.
Free agent. Yeah, current available free agent. I think it's Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
You have Zeke, which obviously we just found out recently. I don't know if that's happened yet, though.
No. I think he's just saying he could see Zeke going to the Bears.
Yeah, I can see.
Well, no,
going
has
to the
Zeke
Bears.
gotten cut? Like, is it official yet?
I believe it is.
Is it official?
Let me look it up.
From everything that I mean, Jerry Jones already's
Yeah,
posted
I mean,
a
it's
goodbye
pretty-
letter.
Kareem Hunt, I think. Kareem Hunt fits more of the Eagles system.
But
the way they run
But the
things.
Bears already have like a blocking back. Is my point. Kareem
Yeah.
Hunt's more of the kind of open field.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, it's,
Zeke is not going to produce. I don't think either of these
Zeke's
guys are going to
old.
produce yardage. I think they're the same
So,
age. I think Kareem Hunt and Zeke are the same age.
you might be right about that.
So I don't think either of these
Zeke's
guys are
been
going
in
to
the league for
produce.
7 years.
So is Kareem Hunt.
No.
Don't forget he was out of the league for a year.
Oh yeah, he's the same age as me because I graduated with him at South. So yeah, he's probably 28 too.
So born in '95. I don't even know. Like, just give me his age.
Ezekiel Elliott is
95.
27.
So it'll
Sorry,
be 27, 28.
July 22nd, 1995 for
And
Zeke.
Kareem Hunt, I think, is 27, 28. I think they're the same age.
Yes. Both said 27.
Yeah. So like they're both the same
Yeah.
age for the most part.
August 6th, so he'll be 28
and
before
Zeke's
the start of the
production
season, both of them.
has been better
Oh, 100%.
than taking the Browns out of it because they don't utilize Kareem. But Zeke's production has been better with them pulling back his
Yes.
play because what you guys sent that tweet out from somebody showing Zeke's production over the last 8 years, but
Yeah,
they
but
took
it's
out the
skewed.
fact that they took out his rushing attempts and they literally just played him less and less and less every year.
So you got to see that's what I hate about a lot of these sports pages on Facebook and Twitter is they'll put a stat out there for clicks, but the average fan's not going to look into it. You're going to have guys like us that actually know about the stats, fantasy guys that know how much it's skewed because at the end of the day he's losing rush attempts every year after year, which he fits multiple systems. Yeah, he's a little bit
100%.
older, but you got to also
Kareem Hunt can play anywhere. and
you
so
got to
can Zeke.
also look. He had good lines the entire time. Or his first.
He's
3
always
years.
had a top 10 offensive line.
But he's always been that anchor for Dak, and they used him like crazy when Dak was injured.
Right.
People seem to forget that Zeke was a huge factor on why Dallas became as much of an offensive juggernaut as they were. I would say more so than Dak personally.
That's a good point.
But everybody says, yeah, running backs are a dime a dozen, and they are. But you're not going to find another guy that has as much heart in running as Zeke, in my opinion. Even from college, the dude just doesn't give up, and that's what I like about it because you have these guys that I'm just going to use it as an example. It's not dissing anybody. Kyler Murray, he likes to play video games. There's going to be more and more of players like that coming in because
Well, it's more commitment
Yeah.
to football rather than
exactly.
I
mean, look at one of the guys we have coming out, Cody Mauch. He changed position.
Let's not talk about Cody,
I'm sorry,
man.
but I'm
I
just
love
saying-
this kid.
I'm sorry, but
I love this kid.
He's got heart. I'm just saying he changed positions.
Dude,
put on
the dude
pound,
gained.
yeah.
No, pull up Sport Track if you can,
He gained 70 pounds.
because that's not up to date. I have to update that every show, and that's not up to date.
And that's what I want. I want a heart in a guy that I'm going to put a draft pick in. I don't want, he's going to be out partying. He's going to be out with at the club. I don't want that. I want.
So,
somebody
Bo,
that's
do you
gonna-
see Bijan as a Saquon? Is that the real question? Because like Ryan's comp is Saquon. Ryan comp Bijan to Saquon. But the question is, like, Saquon was a top 5 pick. Like,
he was the second overall pick.
yeah, that's what my point. He's a top 5 pick in a draft, and no one wants to touch Bijan in the top 10.
I don't touch Bijan in the top 10. Personally.
It's because of the contract values.
Yeah, and it's because running backs again, dime a dozen. But
Well, and also look what just happened with Brees Hall last year.
yeah, I mean that's changed.
He
That
played
team.
7 games, phenomenal.
That
and
changed
then
that team
out.
completely. And they didn't have a run. They didn't have a quarterback, and that team was running fluid.
They had Zach Wilson.
No, Daddy White. That's who they had. They had Daddy
They
White.
had Zach Wilson. Actually,
Zach
Joe Flacco
Wilson.
came
Did
in.
you see what Zach Wilson said? He said any veteran that comes in there, he's going to make every day hell for him on the practice.
Except
like, what
for
are you
Aaron
going to do?
Rodgers.
Fuck his mom?
Except for Aaron.
I mean, you're
You can't screw Aaron
quarterback, bro.
Rodgers' mom. It's like your grandma. Like, you gotta stop.
He doesn't even talk to his parents. I think they're estranged. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it would fit how freaking crazy the dude is.
I will say though, but that I've always made that argument, and we bring that actually reeling that way back into Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I've always made that argument since the Aaron Rodgers going to the Jets thing. Is that I was watching this one show, and this dude does phenomenal documentaries, and he does deep dives.
Yeah.
And Zach Wilson, his idol is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has ties with the Jets, not just Hackett. There's other ties with the Jets, and there's ties with Zach Wilson prior to going to that team.
Alan Lazard.
Well, now Alan Lazard. But I'm talking before Alan Lazard and all this stuff happened. There's always ties in the system.
Okay.
And then on top of that, like Aaron Rodgers would fit in that system, play 2 years. Zach Wilson would come in his 4th year of his contract, and it fits so well that it doesn't make sense for the Jets to not do it unless they're giving up the first-round picks that we've talked about. And remember how we said that on the show last week?
Yeah.
That I agree with Bo in this concept, that 2 firsts is a lot.
I said that months ago.
But Bo made a good point. I'm like, 2 firsts is a lot.
I don't give up. Like I said, you're giving up 2 firsts for a guy that you have for sure that year. And it takes, look how long it took him to get used to the wide receivers that he had at Green Bay. You think it's going to be a little bit of a learning curve for those wide receivers, not for Rodgers, but for those wide receivers to get used to it.
But here's the thing, like, you got to keep in mind that you're talking a rookie coming in. Garrett Wilson's now has some veteran mentality. Plus, Garrett Wilson, to me, was already NFL ready compared to
100%.
Christian
But
Watson.
you're going from catching balls from Mike White, Joe Flacco, and Zach Wilson to first ballot Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers.
One of the greatest of all time.
Yes. I do.
Who was undefeated in his career against
I'm not.
Chicago.
There's not. I don't like the way that Rodgers does stuff with the media. He sits there and he's like, I don't want to be talked about, but I want to be talked about.
But he likes
you know
being
what?
the villain.
He plays the Batman well. You know, he wants to be talked about, but he's gonna play, in the shadows.
He learned from Tom Brady,
which I like. I like
from
it
Tom Brady
because someone's got to be the bad boy, and that's what he is. He's the guy that everybody wants to hate, but at the same sense,
no press is bad press. We've had this conversation,
and everybody doesn't want to stop talking about. I mean, look at us. We talk about him probably weekly.
Well, it's between Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson. Those are the 2 guys that we have to talk about because we don't know what teams they're playing for, and they're screwing over multiple teams right now.
Yeah, and Lamar Jackson's playing it stupid. We've already had this conversation. I've already bashed Lamar Jackson. Personally, Lamar Jackson has not done enough to show me that he's worth more than $40 million.
Well, staying on the field, he's then worth it. But if he can't stay on the field,
but
that's the issue.
It's exactly that. The way you play is the reason why you're not getting the contract you want. But it's also the reason why you want your contract. So what is it going to be? Are you going to sit there and become a better pocket passer and not run as much? Or are you going to sit there and run as much as you have been and then screw your team? Because you're not there when it matters most.
All right, so let's run back. So Aaron Rodgers, right? We were talking about that because we said 2 firsts is too much, right? Now, I've recently done research, and you said you've recently done research too, that what the Jets should give up, and this was per CBS what I saw, and I actually thought this was a great idea. It might be a little too much in my mind, but they should give up a conditional second and a conditional 5th the following year. Now, the conditional second consists of if they make it to the playoffs, it becomes a first.
Yes.
I actually might say they might have said the AFC Championship game.
So I'd give up two twos.
And then the conditional 5th for 2025 had a upgrade to a 4th, a 3rd, a 2nd, and a 1st. So the upgrade to the 4th would have been if Aaron Rodgers doesn't retire. The upgrade to the 3rd would have been if they make the playoffs. The upgrade to the 2nd is if they make the championship game. The upgrade to the 1st would have been if they would have made it to the Super Bowl. And I actually don't disagree with that because then you have a guarantee on the pick if Rodgers stays that extra year.
Yeah.
Because you're losing all that money, you might as well guarantee the pick.
The funny thing about that is he can also screw the Packers one last time, like, you ain't going to get crap. And then the Jets don't have to give up much. Let's say they don't make the Super Bowl, and he gives up the 2nd, and I'm going to retire. Now they only get a 5th. They don't get that 1st.
Right.
Who knows if they would have made
Rodgers
that.
could
got
purposely...
Well, he could personally, but
which
here's
he
the
wants.
thing, though.
He
But
likes having that ability in his hand.
But keep in mind, Rodgers is still giving up $60 million.
Oh yeah, but I think he's over the money.
I love that take by Bo.
I think he's what'd he say?
Dan Snyder should pay Lamar and leave. Oh, ruin the team.
Oh God, it would be that would be fitting. It would be.
I don't even know if
Last
Ryan's
time.
watching right now. There's no love.
With
You should text him and be like, why aren't you guys watching? Called off
I
sick.
think Rodgers. I wish Rodgers would have gone to a big, and that's no hate towards the Packers or anything. I wish he would have gone to a big city because he fits that big city mentality.
No,
He's
I
from
see. Well, New York is a
California.
big city. If he goes to
That's
the
what I'm saying.
Jets,
That's what
yeah.
I like. I like that though because
But I think you get the same media coverage because Green Bay's media coverage by the fans is intense.
Yeah, 'cause
you
they're
obviously know,
diehards.
like my sister is a diehard, and that she doesn't even live near the city. She's never been around the city. She fell in love with Aaron Rodgers. She fell in love with Devontae Adams.
Johnny.
You're
Yeah,
right
but-
here.
Yeah, but you're the weird diehard, okay?
Why am
Because
I
you've
okay?
accepted Aaron leaving, and most Green Bay Packers
No,
have not accepted it.
a lot of people have accepted Jordan Love as their future.
Oh, it's so disgusting.
How much faith do you have in Jordan Love? If you have to,
I'm not saying that.
That's so disgusting.
I unfortunately have accepted the fact that he is leaving, but I still have to stay with my team. I do not agree. I did not like Jordan Love them trading up to get Jordan Love, let alone just everything with the whole situation. I don't think he's the future, and the Bears are going to beat Green Bay probably for next couple of years.
I wouldn't say that. But I could see it. You're preparing for it.
But it's okay because Rodgers leaves being undefeated. So he's the GM of the Jets. He's the owner of
Daddy
he's
of
the
the
quarterback
Jets,
of the Packers still currently, and he's the
Daddy of the Bears.
and he's the owner of the Bears. Yes.
So let me ask you this. I guess it could kind of be off topic, but who would you rather have as a starter on the Packers, Jordan Love or Trey Lance?
Are you asking me or Johnny?
Both of you guys. I'm just.
I would have to say Jordan Love just for the sole fact that
He stays on the field.
Right, we don't know if he's injury prone.
And
compared to Trey.
take away the part that he's been in the system. He knows just if you were drafting and you had to choose one
Morning,
of those
Charlotte.
guys, who are you picking? Jordan Love or Trey Lance?
Morning, Charlotte and Zach. Thanks for chiming in the chat. Good to see you guys.
I would
Trey-
pick Jordan Love.
Trey has the athletic ability, I think, more than Jordan, but he utilizes his feet more.
But he hasn't shown anything.
But because of his injuries alone, like you said, I'm not
Here's the
basing
thing.
it off
Here's
of
the
him
thing,
beating
though,
Green
right?
Bay. Just athletic ability, I would probably have to say Jordan Love.
But this sucks because I really think Jordan Love's just bad.
I think he's gonna surprise you guys. I honestly
But
think
here's
he's
the thing.
going to.
It's a contract year, right? All players play better on their contract year. I just think Jordan Love's bad. So I don't care if he plays better. He's going to have a 20 touchdown, a 18 interception year. They're going to run the ball. They're going to win. They'll go 9-8.
I have admitted.
9-8.
That's what I have him at actually.
But that can't win that division.
No,
that can't
you
win
don't
that
know
division.
that. You don't know that.
Yes, I do.
You don't know what Minnesota's going to do.
I know the Detroit Lions are going to play better than they did last year, and they were 9-8.
But it depends on what Jared Goff you get. Their wide receivers, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Chicago, you don't know what you get because you got Justin Fields.
I guess the only question is, right, with the Detroit Lions, is Jared Goff going to be Phillip Rivers off on?
Yes, I
Like,
think-
are we,
I
what
think that's
what
what
Jared
he
Goff
is.
are we going to get?
I think that's what Jared Goff is it's you're going to put the talent around him, but can he show up game in and game out?
Consistency.
And
Yeah.
I think that's why that people sleep on Jared Goff is he's good enough to win you games and keep you in contention, but is he good enough to be that next step to put the team on the back, go
And
get that fourth
we all
quarter
agree
drive?
Chicago's not going to get worse.
No,
Right.
the Chicago's not going to get worse. I think if any team's going to be the worst in this division,
It's going to be Green Bay
it's going to be Green Bay.
for this year.
But at the same sense, you don't know what you get with Detroit.
If they're going to get worse from the previous year, because I don't think they'll be the worst. I think Chicago's still got to fight to get into there because Chicago has you're changing everything in that team.
Yeah.
Like you've changed the running backs now. You now have a new wide receiver core. You now have all new. The defense has changed completely revamped defense. You changed defensive
There'll be
coach.
a learning curve for
So
sure.
there's going to be a rough start to the season outside of Justin Fields getting healthy, which is great, and them cleaning up the offensive line. So like that's a huge plus, but that's why I think there's a skew there and him getting back.
But out of this division, who had the best offseason signings?
Oh, it's Chicago so far.
Okay,
Yeah.
but again,
No, stop it. Stop
He
it.
said the division.
Yeah,
I thought he said NFL. I was like, what?
In that division,
I don't know.
Between-
Minnesota had some very good defensive signings.
Okay, but I don't trust.
Like, if you
Kirk
bring up
Cousins as much
Minnesota
as I can throw
signings-
him because he.
But who do you
just
trust more,
disintegrates.
Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, Jared Goff, or
Again, this is just still
Jordan
late from
Love.
Wednesday.
Personally, I think the Lions are going to be 9-8. I think they'll be last in the division this
Like
year.
Marcus Davenport is a great signing.
Yeah, but they had no
Byron
defense
Murphy?
at all last year. So
Byron
yeah,
Murphy?
they're going to sign defense, but can they pop?
I don't disagree with what Minnesota has done.
Yeah, I like
I
it.
don't think it's a huge improvement, but I don't think it's worse.
No,
Apparently, NFL's website has Zadarius Smith signing a 3-year, $42 million deal with Minnesota to stay.
I thought he wanted to go back to the Packers.
I thought so too, but from
Is that official?
I bet
you that's-
my apologies. NFL.
Is that old?
Yes,
Okay, good.
old news.
Yeah, I was gonna say I bet you any money that's from
I think
That's 2022.
last year. Yeah.
I think Detroit's going to be probably one of the worst teams. And I love Detroit. I've been telling Detroit,
Trying to
you know,
think.
like I like Detroit. I like Amon-Ra. I mean, I love that team. But
We're just saying off season.
yeah, I think that I think they had one of the, like you said, they didn't get any better. They didn't get any worse.
They signed defensive end Kenny Wilkes, which I don't know if I have that in there. Minnesota signed defensive end Kenny Wilkes. And I think
No.
that they also signed a 10 end Ben Ellison.
Who?
Their tight end signings make no sense to me.
I
Minnesota?
mean, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say right now, Marcus
So-
Davenport.
Well, they have T.J. Hawkinson too, don't they?
Yeah, well, they only have him for another year.
Yeah.
So, like, their signings make no sense to me. Oxymoron did old news. Yeah.
But you got to remember they lost.
I got
Alvin.
Dybul running kind of news back there.
They lost their best D tackle to the Browns.
I agree with Bo that welcome back to the NFL, Green Bay, where you're not sitting behind a franchise quarterback for 20 years. Patriots are feeling it. The Ravens are about to feel it.
The
Ravens got
Lamar
lucky. They went
Jackson
from
is not
Flacco to Lamar.
Lamar Jackson is not a franchise quarterback.
Well, they haven't paid him yet to be a franchise
He's
quarterback.
not a
so.
franchise quarterback. I'm sorry, Ryan,
so-
but he's not.
So I think we kind of agree though that 2 firsts is a lot for Aaron Rodgers unless he can prove
What
that
do
he's
you
going to
give
play
up?
for the next 2 years.
What would you give up comfortably? If you're the GM of the Jets, what do you give up?
I think I have to give up this year's first. I think I have to.
yeah, you're gonna have to.
I think I have to give up this year's first, and I think I can do a conditional for next year if I make the playoffs, but I'm not giving up a first. It'll be a third conditional to a second.
Okay.
And that is
I like
it. That is it. I'm not giving up more. And Bo probably is like, I told you. Because I kind of agree at this point that you can't have a 40-year-old quarterback putting your team at risk because he can retire any day, and we've already seen this. Look at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is in shackles. They're hoping that Baker or was it Trask will step up and do the job of what Tom Brady did because they are paying that offense, and that defense has just gotten worse this year.
So if I'm the GM of the Jets, I give up this year's first and Elijah Moore, the wide receiver, and that's it
Actually,
because they need wide receivers.
I just now realized Bo said oxymoron old news. Technically, all news is old news, Bo. That's not oxymoron.
So
It's a
would
double
you
statement. It's
take
double
that,
talk.
Johnny? Would you take a first and Elijah Moore? You need wide receivers.
No, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can. They need big bodies. Elijah Moore is not a big body receiver.
But he's a
Right.
guy.
They don't need
He
guys.
is, and
They need
Elijah-
targets.
Elijah has talked about leaving New York.
That's what I'm saying.
Last year.
Yeah.
Jordan's
so, he doesn't want to be
accuracy-
there anyway.
Jordan's accuracy is bad, though. So they need targets. They need guys that can catch
But
outside of their body
if
and
you
bring the ball in.
Look at Elijah Moore in college. He
DJ
had-
Chark.
Yeah.
But look at Elijah Moore in college. He had a very, very good catch radius. But he's been behind guys.
Well, yeah, I mean, Elijah Moore, his
was
issue
the
is he's
third.
not getting the
He
opportunity.
was the third essentially because he was behind.
Fourth.
Yeah, fourth. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
But-
behind Goddard.
So okay, fine. You know, I give up that. I give up a
not
first,
Goddard,
Elijah Moore, and a fourth.
Conklin.
A
He's
conditional
behind
fourth. Just that's what you get as a fourth. I don't think
I
they're
don't
going to
know,
say
man.
no to that.
If I'm him, I just chill it because wide receivers get injured all the time. Your time to shine is anytime, and if you can go out there
Well,
and
he's a-
shine, you get paid.
this is his last
Look at
year.
Christian Kirk.
This is his.
That's
last,
fine.
I think this is his last
That's
year.
fine, and someone will sign him if he doesn't get hurt this year.
Well, Christian Kirk, everybody laughed at that, but I mean, I did too.
But Christian Kirk wasn't the stud guy,
No,
but he
but you
stepped
gotta
up in
remember-
times of need.
He was behind DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
I mean,
I get that.
And look at DeAndre's going to be gone now.
I think
most
he,
likely.
and I
now
think
you have Marquise.
I don't know if I think the Christian Kirk year was the year that I think it was a year after Larry retired was the year that he popped and then Kirk got signed by another team. But he
Yes.
he played well with Larry
Yeah.
as a solid number 2. The
I
problem
miss
is nobody thought he was a number
I miss
1.
Larry. I feel so bad he didn't win a freaking Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
Larry's blind.
So, all right, let's move on from
Aaron.
Aaron.
Yeah,
Let's jump into the other.
Lamar.
We'll jump into Lamar because we had a little bit of conversation about him. So obviously Lamar's refuted reports that he was offered $200 million. The $200 million thing to me is like Lamar. I don't think it's the money, because I think if you look at 133 over 3 years, that's good money.
Yes,
I mean, what is that? 48 a year?
that's too much.
I think it's 48, but that's great money.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great
yeah,
money.
yeah.
The problem is he wants an extended contract. He wants he wants a merger of Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes' contract as one, because he thinks he's better than both those guys.
Okay, so he's not. People are gonna get mad at this. He's not half as good as Patrick Mahomes.
Wait, one more time, say that again.
He is
I
not
didn't catch
half
that.
as good as Patrick Mahomes.
He's not even a third as good as Patrick Mahomes.
So you're either going to get one of the three things. You're either going to get long term, you're either going to get guaranteed, or you're going to get all that money.
Or you're going to get a
Like,
merger of the both.
Yeah.
Which
There's
is what
no way you're getting all that.
That's what Deshaun Watson got.
Well,
So
Deshaun,
he got guaranteed, and it was a time of desperate need for the Browns.
yeah, that's not Deshaun's fault.
Yeah, no, Deshaun took advantage of the situation. The Ravens are not desperate.
He takes advantage of
Many
takes advantage
situations.
of many situations. But Lamar he has-
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Lamar's got to realize there's no market for him. Look at nobody's going to give up.
There's never been a market for running quarterbacks.
And I said this, and everybody's like, "Oh, look at Daniel Jones." Guess what? Daniel Jones, another guy who took advantage of the situation. The Giants were too scared to go out and get somebody because they weren't high enough
and
in the
their
draft.
backup quarterback took a coaching deal.
Yeah, and their
in
backup quarterback
Chicago.
took a
Oh no, in
coaching
Denver.
deal in
He's the
Denver.
quarterback coach in Denver.
And he fit the system, so they're just like Seattle. They're not going to go out and get a guy and relearn that whole system. Look at the veterans that have been signed. It's just a different version of themselves.
Yeah,
So this is no hate towards Derek Carr. I love Derek Carr, but Jimmy G is less of Derek Carr, don't get me wrong, but he fits that system the way he plays.
I mean,
There
Jimmy
was-
G and Derek Carr are similar, and
Yeah.
I would say almost equivalent. The only difference between the two is one can stay on the field.
Yeah, so...
There was a
Derek
meme-
Carr's had
So
one bad year.
this is a weird. It's just a weird draft for quarterbacks. A weird year for quarterbacks free agency because
There's so much demand, but not enough supply.
Yeah.
So
And no
people
teams-
are getting overpaid that shouldn't. That's why I love the franchise tag. I freaking love the franchise tag.
because you can't. It gives the ability so the player can't hold him hostage. He's gonna make less money than Daniel Jones this year. Do you realize that?
Yeah,
'Cause they're not
well,
paying
he's like
him.
the 20th highest paid quarterback because it's previous before signings.
Well, he gets
Right.
paid what he's worth. I'm sorry.
So, well, like I said, this is a smart play for Lamar. It's a smart play for the team. It actually benefits everybody involved.
Lamar doesn't. Think
Lamar taking the franchise tag this year, if he can, well, it's a smart play because again, your argument, bet on yourself.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bet on yourself because if you can do it, awesome. If you
That's-
can't do it, you bet on yourself.
He was
That-
great at
that's
the
what-
beginning of the season, but then he got injured.
So
That's
well,
what Rodgers said after Green Bay drafted Love, and he went back to become a back-to-back
Back to MVP,
So
and he might win it again this upcoming season.
that's the. I think
Oh,
that's
dude.
that's the
That
reason.
offense
Dude,
is gonna be
I'm saying
stacked.
he's got a good.
I hate
Well,
the
so-
Alan Lazard signing, but I love the meme about Green Bay Packers taking all of their weapons with him, but he said he didn't. And I told you this, by
Lazard's
the way,
scrappy.
Oh, yeah.
many times.
Oh no,
he
it's
never
because of the
said,
organization.
He never said he didn't have weapons in Green Bay. He
Right.
never said
No,
that.
he did not say that. That was
That is everybody in the media getting mad
Yes.
because his weapons aren't
top tier.
top tier. But
But-
when you have Devontae Adams, you had Mercedes Lewis right for a few years, right?
He wasn't top down. Tunyon.
He was a good tight end before Tunyon.
Mercedes was their blocking.
He was their blocking tight end.
But
He had a
before
couple
Tunyon,
good
he
years
was
of-
good.
He had a
Like,
couple good years of offense, but he got bigger.
and then you
He's a
still
blocker.
you always look at like the Jordy Nelson, and then every
Randall
Randall Cobb
Cobb.
in his prime. Like he's always had a receiver move on and play with him for at least 6 years.
So this is another
So-
thing that.
At least.
But let's go back to Lamar though.
So this is
I don't
another,
wanna-
going off of that. Going back to Lamar is, look at what Rodgers has at wide receiver. Look, you're not gonna get anybody. You think you don't have anybody to throw to now? You get that $50 million for 5 years guaranteed. You ain't having nobody.
Yep, Aaron
And your
Rodgers.
team
Aaron
cannot
Rodgers
draft-
learned that.
And your team cannot draft wide receivers.
You can't.
You
just
traded the guy that you drafted, who you liked.
They don't
Apparently,
draft.
He wanted out.
They don't draft wide receivers.
No.
Christian Watson's probably the best wide receiver they've drafted.
No.
But they didn't
I'm talking about the Ravens.
But they waited
Oh,
for
yeah,
Watson
yeah.
to go into the second.
You're right. No, the Ravens.
yes,
you're right.
the
The Ravens
Ravens
suck at
cannot-
drafting wide
they can't
receivers.
draft.
Yes.
But no, the Packers refused to draft wide receivers in the first because
Steve Smith was like the last good wide receiver they drafted.
because there's so much talent on the defense.
Did they draft him?
I think
Yeah.
so.
I thought he went from Carolina. to
Oh, you
Baltimore.
might be right. Hold on.
I think that like they've literally it's been a while since they've drafted a good
But
wide
yes,
receiver.
they have not had a
But-
generational.
So
talent.
the question is right there, right? So if they pay Lamar, right? Let's just say my argument was like this works for both teams.
Let's just say the 3 years, 150 guaranteed.
Well, it's not. It was 133, but technically he was offered 180 at
Right.
4. Like he just doesn't like the I think the length of the contract. So, and if that's the case, good freaking luck.
Yes.
Then take non-guaranteed money and bet on yourself to be healthy. And if that's the
Drafted-
case,
Drafted by Carolina.
you bet on yourself to be healthy. So
he can't.
the 3 years, 133 is chump change in his mind, and that's fine. So you take the franchise tag, which is 32,345 or whatever. That's the cost of it. It's 32 mil. And then next year, if you don't come to an agreement with a team or your team, because you're a UFA at that point, and the Ravens could technically use that restricted, they could franchise tag you one more time. Now you get that same salary bonus. It's like 40 million
15%
plus you
more.
get a 15% increase on top of that for being a second year tag. Now you're around 55 million. Guaranteed money.
They're going to do the Kirk Cousins.
Guaranteed money.
They're going to do what they did to Kirk Cousins.
Right. And then that third year, if you still stay healthy, someone's going to sign you.
Yeah. But I don't think he's going to be.
But you're not going to get guaranteed. You might get that 3 year 133 again.
So-
and now you've made 5 years, almost 200 million, maybe a little over $200 million, probably 220,
Yeah.
230. Now you get your money guaranteed. But you're betting on yourself to be healthy for at least 3 more years. 2 more years at least.
Yeah, but he's not going to be healthy.
I mean, he's already proven he hasn't been healthy. And a
And-
PCL injury, just an FYI, knowing what I have with a PCL injury, with a partial tear.
It ain't easy to come back
No,
from.
it's not that. The PCL doesn't heal. So what happens is you just strengthen the muscles around it. Now, you can go try some, stem cell research and do all that shit on
He's
that's
got the
not
money,
legit.
Maybe.
You're more than welcome to, and it'll probably work, but it doesn't heal the ligament for the most part. It never gets back to the regular strength. So, and when you're literally your job is a running first quarterback, you literally just took your biggest aspect of your game out of your game because
But-
now you have to focus on the pass.
But he needs to, because if you look, his accuracy has ticked down every single
Since
year.
his MVP season, but if you look at when he came in the league, his accuracy is averaged on the upside. So he has gotten better, but since his MVP season, which again, I think that's his ceiling. I don't think Lamar is going to get better than his ceiling.
No.
I think that's his ceiling is his MVP season. And everybody's like, well, it's an MVP season.
So
it
he-
should be a
Yeah,
ceiling.
he's top 10 quarterback
That's
when
great.
healthy.
That's great.
I would have to agree. Yeah, he's top 10 quarterback. when
Phenomenal.
healthy.
But if you
Okay.
look at his numbers, statistically as a quarterback, he threw the same shit as Baker Mayfield did that year.
Yeah.
The difference was he rushed
ran.
for like 1,400 yards.
But guess what?
That was the difference.
You're not going to have both when you're 30-something years old. Russell Wilson relied on rushing, and he doesn't anymore because he realized that Kyler Murray's not going to be rushing because he's had 2 back-to-back injury years.
People always say the longer you play, the slower the game becomes.
but-
But what's the first thing that goes on any athlete? It's their speed.
Yeah.
Speed and agility.
So look at any of these quarterbacks that have gotten injured. Jimmy G, he was injured because he was running when he tore his ACL multiple times, I think twice. But they get hurt because they're running. They don't get hurt because they're in the pocket. It happens, yes, it does happen. Alex Smith's happened. He freaking snapped his leg in half. You have non-contact injuries like Teddy Bridgewater. Those are freak accidents. They're going to happen. But you put yourself out there to get injured more because you're going up against a 250, 260-pound linebacker. You're going up against a D tackle that's going to land on you. And, yeah, he may fall on you funny. You may pop a knee. It's going to happen. But if you don't put yourself in those situations, then you increase your upside long term. But that's what Lamar doesn't get because he doesn't know not running. He's been with that his entire career, going back from when he probably was playing quarterback, if he did play quarterback when he was in freaking middle school. It's what he's relied on. It's a safety net versus dumping off to a running back or dumping off to a tight end. He likes running because it gives him that second step. But at the same sense, he's going to lose that second step because of the injuries. He's like you said, you lose that speed.
Right.
So Baltimore's best wide receivers, at least since 2000, Torrey Smith and Hollywood Brown.
And they traded Hollywood. I don't know that.
Darren Waller only had 103 yards in his 2 seasons with Baltimore.
Yeah, when he was a wide receiver, yeah.
When he was still listed as a wide receiver. We don't know about Duvernay. He doesn't even have 1,000.
Rashard Bateman, you don't know anything
Rashad
about.
Bateman, he's at 800.
But none of those guys are they're BC guys. I have those. They're wide receiver 2-3s. I mean, they're on the fringe. I don't have any of those guys as wide receiver 1s.
Right. But just going back to it, they have not drafted a wide receiver.
No, they can't.
That's been worth.
It's just like they are literally just like the Browns in drafting quarterbacks. They cannot do it.
They
just-
need to pick
can't.
someone up. They need to pick someone up in their prime.
And they need to go get. I doubt they'll do it, but they need to go get DeAndre Hopkins.
The Ravens?
Yeah.
They don't have the cap space. If you got
That's what I'm saying,
to
but
pay Lamar, you don't have the
that's
cap
what I'm
space for
saying.
D-Hop.
That-
You don't have the
that-
draft capital. You have 5 picks this year. This is the issue with the D-Hop thing. If you're not going to give up a pick this year, if you're going to use a pick, it's going to go towards a wide receiver, not towards a 31-year-old guy.
Right.
So, the D-Hop thing, no. If I'm the Ravens, I don't touch D-Hop. I touch DJ Chark for cheap.
But
26-year-old wide receiver, a weapon that, and I get, I love DJ Chark, but,
you know who they're drafting, right?
if they draft...
They're drafting Quentin Johnson. I'm calling it now. They cannot
telling you
draft
this.
wide receiver.
Well,
right.
stop
They're
it.
going to
Stop
draft
it.
Quentin. I'm sorry, Ryan. They're
All
drafting
right,
Quentin
so
Johnson.
Johnny, can you put up that on the bottom line for us from from Wheels' the top 100? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump into the our 2-round mock, and we're gonna have fun there because that'll be I guess exciting to do because I don't know. Hey, Bo, if you are in chat and you're staying around, if you want to pick for Chicago, I am completely fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with him picking Chicago.
Don't go absurd though, because I mean, they could go Bijan at 9. I just think it's absurd.
Yeah.
There's more holes to fill
Plus,
at 9.
plus, I think when you think free agency, the last thing you want to do is go get a running back this year. I would focus on a running back next year. And if everybody does comp him to Saquon, guess what? Saquon was great for 1 year, 2 years injured, then he got a contract.
So
Great for this year.
you guys want to do?
He got tagged.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah,
want
it's
to do
true.
NFL mock database? Or,
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
I'm on
I
NFL
got
mock
Me
database.
too.
Okay,
So
perfect.
if you have PFF, you're fine to do that because I like the trade options on PFF.
Right. I mean, I have both ready, but
Do you
just
want,
to keep
can you
up with
put
you
up the
guys.
main on there?
You're
the
really
cam?
gonna hate me.
So you should have a scene just for the draft, I thought.
what,
Draft prep? I think that's the main camera plus.
Nope.
Yeah, it is. That's main camera. So you just have to screen share.
Well,
You just have to add the screen share in there. So, but at least they can see us.
Hi.
And then remove that Deep Threats logo. Hide the Deep Threats logo.
Oh, you're gonna hate me with this pick. Because I think this is the
Hide the
pick
Deep Threats
Carolina's
logo
gonna do.
on the left. There, leave that one. That's fine. And you can technically copy that and put it on the left if you wanted to. Oh yeah, the
Because of how big
Johnny
it is.
wallpaper. Move
Johnny
above
Wallpaper.
screen share. Move above screen share. There you go.
gotcha.
All right, so now you can zoom in if you really wanted to, and then do whatever the hell you want with the screen share. No, you can maximize it, not zoom in on your actual laptop, actual maximize it on the
gotcha.
OBS. Sorry, live and editing,
Right.
working on it here. Yeah, too bad you can't put the top 100 at the top
Yeah.
because then you can see our top 100 going across while we're doing this.
So
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. He's like, shut up, TJ.
Well,
I know.
you're I'm NFC.
So, yeah,
you're AFC.
Yeah,
right?
I'm gonna take AFC. You're gonna take NFC. I was gonna give you the AFC, but I don't like you taking AFC.
Why?
Because you've already said that the Ravens are gonna take Quentin Johnson. You've already pretty much.
It's
came
gonna
out.
happen. I will put everything I have in my 401k that they will.
All
not
right,
take
Ryan.
to
If
Zay
you
Flowers.
are going to watch this, Wheels is going to trade you whatever card he has that he thinks is most valuable, and say that Quentin Johnson is going to the Ravens because you guys suck at drafting.
They're not
wide
taking
receivers.
Zay Flowers.
I'm just saying. All right, so.
With the first pick,
With the first pick is Carolina.
Carolina.
And don't forget that Carolina, who they picked up as their backup quarterback.
I don't remember honestly. It's been a long
Andy Dalton.
yes.
They signed
Yeah.
Andy Dalton as their backup quarterback.
And they're looking to shop Matt Corral.
So,
Look at the shot my fifth round,
you're
fourth
gonna
round
hate me with
quarterback.
this pick, but I think this pick fits its system. With,
It-
and it's gonna be Anthony Richardson. I'm sorry.
But Dalton doesn't
Yes.
fit that. They went out and got Dalton. It doesn't fit that. You can take whoever you want because I told you I think Anthony Richardson. It's too much Cam Newton-esque. Like I get it.
Right.
Carolina.
I don't think
Cam
they're
Newton,
taking
Anthony
CJ.
Richardson.
I don't think they're going to take CJ, even though I want them to. I just don't foresee them taking CJ because I don't think they like him.
But think of the coach. Was it Frank Reich that's there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Reich's there. Reich has loved pocket passers that can scramble. So that's my point. If you look at Frank Reich has had Carson Wentz, he's had Nick
Phillip
Foles,
Rivers, Nick
Phillip
Foles.
Rivers. So like that's what everybody brings him in to have. And you're going to tell me that don't agree with you. But that's fine. I don't agree with you.
I can take CJ.
So-
I'm on the
No,
fence.
no.
This
it's-
is you. So
I'm on the fence. So it's just I don't foresee them taking CJ because I think they fell in love with Anthony Richardson at the combine, and that's when the trade happened right after the combine. So I think that's who they're going to take. But I do think
It was
I
post
agree,
combine, but like they signed Andy Dalton after that.
which I get. I completely forgot.
Like if
what
you're going
that
to sign
signing-
anybody, why wouldn't you just re-sign PJ Walker?
Yeah.
Because he would fit sitting behind Anthony Richardson. Unless you think the quarterback that you're going to draft isn't starting right away. Because Andy Dalton's capable of coming in and doing something. But I don't think that because
I
you
think
traded
CJ
all of this. You traded what? It was 2 firsts,
You traded all
it
your
was-
weapons.
wide receiver, DJ Moore.
it was 961 DJ Moore, 2025 second,
And a 2024.
2024.
Actually,
first.
you know what?
I
This
think
is-
so, yeah.
Never mind. I'm going to draft frickin' Bryce Young.
I
think
can see
I
Bryce
think-
Young.
So
I can
think
see
he
Bryce
fits,
Young.
I think he fits that system a little bit better than Anthony Richardson, but I don't think they're going to go see.
I just don't think you want to say Stroud.
I don't want to say Stroud because I don't think he's going to go there.
Great. So you're
All right.
you're locking in Bryce Young.
Yeah, Brock locking
All
in
right,
because
so,
Houston's taken frickin' CJ Stroud.
Well, that's.
I hope him or he goes there or the Colts. I beg to God that he does not go to Carolina because I don't think he's going to. I think Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson can go into Carolina.
All right, so I'll take, and this is obviously, and you could say that I'm arguing my way just to get my way, but like
You're gonna take CJ.
I'm going to take C.J. Stroud because to me, I love C.J. Stroud in Houston.
Yeah, but you're right about the Anthony Richardson. He doesn't fit that system.
Right, and
Bryce Young fits that system because he's so. Take this with a grain of salt. This comparison. I'm just comparing because these are the guys that are popular. You have Anthony Richardson and you have.
didn't
CJ
they sign a
Stroud.
running back too? Carolina.
Miles Sanders.
Yeah.
So I think
Is
I think
3 years,
Bryce
24
Young is in the middle of CJ and Anthony Richardson. He's like leaning.
Well, and if Bryce
Back and
Young
forth.
his pro day hasn't
His
happened
height.
yet, right?
His height's what worries me.
Bryce Young's pro day didn't happen yet, did it?
No.
So we'll see. The pro day might change everything for Bryce Young because if he does not have a good pro day, it's C.J. Stroud all day.
Yeah, 100%.
It's C.J. Stroud all day. So I'll jump into C.J. Stroud at Houston at 2. And you guys know I love C.J. Stroud. Houston needs a quarterback. They've done everything on that defense. They don't need to go defense first. They can go defense later. So that's why I got C.J. Stroud going there. And I think he's if you look at our rankings, power rankings, we have C.J. Stroud as the best overall. So then we go to Arizona at 3.
So Will Anderson, everybody loves this kid. He's a little too raw for me. He does not look good in the offensive line. When we were looking at offensive linemen, he doesn't look good. He doesn't have that big second step. I think he was boosted a little bit with his name and with the defensive line that Alabama had.
You need to stop saying name. You say school.
So
It's not a name thing. It's a school thing.
But I'm going to go with Tyree Wilson out of Texas Tech. This kid's a beast.
That's high.
It's not high though. If you look at the kid, go look at the dude's tape. He's my number one edge. Yeah, he's 7th, but he's my number one edge.
Then why wouldn't you trade down?
Can we do trades?
Yeah, I have trades on.
Right. That's fine.
I
Well,
just-
it's us two.
I-
guess. So
I'm
let's do a
looking.
trade. Let's
I'm
make
looking, and I
something-
don't know if I have a trade for that spot personally. That's why I like the PFF.
Unless Atlanta wants to move up to take
Yeah.
somebody they're in love with. Unless
If the question is right, so you left Anthony Richardson on the board. So the question is, does anybody want to jump
I can't.
Indy?
I can take Anthony Richardson with there.
Does anybody want to jump Indy to go get Anthony Richardson? Is the question.
The only team I could see doing that, honestly,
Would be Washington.
would be Washington. That, or I mean, Atlanta.
And I just
no,
don't-
Atlanta's doesn't
I think
matter,
Washington's
sorry.
so far back that it's going to take a lot for Arizona to drop to that. So
Unless
I
they're going to go up there after.
no, I think you're right. I think
I mean, it's
I don't
between
like
that and-
Tyree. I like Will Anderson here, but if you think Tyree is the better guy and you think
I
he
do.
fits Arizona better, I think Tyree can go.
I
here.
think I like Tyree a lot. I'd go out and watch him. I mean, I think it's because he's not going to a big name school. Yeah, Texas Tech's up
But
there.
keep in mind, big name schools play big name teams. If they show up on big name schools and play
I
big name
mean,
teams,
there's nothing against that. But
So that's the
in the
argument.
games that I watched for Will Anderson, he just did not look good against the linemen that he went up against. I just didn't like him.
all right.
So
So
Tyree-
are we taking Tyree here to Arizona?
Yeah, Tyree Wilson.
All right, Tyree Wilson to Arizona. Number 4, the Colts.
Will Levis fits it.
It's
Right?
to me, I just keep saying Will Levis. But is this a year where they change everything? Because they change coachings, they change schemes.
They got rid of Frank Wright, right?
Yeah, Reich's
Which I
Reich's
don't
out of there.
understand. I like Frank Wright. I
Reich's
think
out
they
of
used him
there.
as a scapegoat.
They hired the dude from Philly, Steichen,
Yeah.
running quarterback.
Do you know
Anthony Richardson. I think Anthony Richardson's going here.
I don't hate it.
I think Anthony Richardson's going
I
here.
don't hate that pick. I'll be honest. I really don't.
So I'm going to take Anthony Richardson to the Colts. I hate the pick personally, but at the same point, it's like, you know what? It makes the most sense for the Colts.
So
This sucks for Seattle because if Seattle were going to take a guy as a quarterback, which they said they're not opposed to taking quarterback in the first
you
pick,
still got
It
somebody
would've
late.
been.
though.
but now it would have
Well,
been Anthony Richardson.
We'll see.
Correct.
But I'm taking Will Anderson here.
So Will Anderson,
He's the best available player right now.
yeah,
in
and
my
they do
opinion.
need defensive
Yeah.
edge. So like that works there. I like that.
Detroit.
Then you go to Detroit. Now this is a place you were
I-
talking could trade down, right?
Yeah.
So the question is, if someone's going to trade up to this spot, who are they trading for? And my assumption would be Will Levis at this point.
I think if anybody were to trade up here, it'd be Tennessee to go get a quarterback, personally.
Or is somebody trying to jump to get Jalen Carter?
Chicago, maybe.
Does Philly trade to get Jalen Carter?
I could see that. What do you think Chicago would trade up to get Jalen Carter here, Bo? If you're still in chat.
I don't know if he's still in chat or
Okay.
not. But
I mean, I could see. I don't know if Detroit trades here because there's somebody I really like, and I think they do too here.
they're not going for a cornerback.
They're
They're not. They just signed a cornerback. They still have
Yeah, but-
Akuda. They still have other
Akuda just
cornerbacks.
hasn't produced.
I don't think, and they could go cornerback, but I don't think you're going to go cornerback this high.
Okay, I get that.
I mean,
But
you've got Gonzalez as the fifth best. I mean, technically, it's a great spot for him. But do you have the ability to trade down? Las Vegas has got Garoppolo, right?
Yeah.
So like they signed Garoppolo to a 3-year deal. So I'm assuming they're out on quarterback in the first round here.
Tennessee, I could see.
I just wonder if Chicago trades up to get Jalen Carter or Philly trades up to get Jalen Carter.
Washington.
Because both those teams have a whole bunch of picks, right? Chicago has, I think, a shit ton of picks.
It's just hard because I'm NFC, so it's hard to.
It's literally on you. Tennessee, I don't see trading up.
Houston's not a good to trade up.
You know what? I wonder if Tennessee would trade up for Will Levis.
I'm thinking it.
I don't know, man. Are they in on Tannehill? What's the
This is his last year.
what's the contract on Tannehill?
He's making
Johnny?
a lot of money. He's making a lot.
Can you pull that up on Spot Track? Let Johnny do it.
Okay.
You keep searching to see if you're going to trade. It's just Tennessee with the Malik Willis thing last year didn't pan out. It was a 3rd or 4th round pick. He didn't look good. Tannehill's been struggling. They need a wide receiver.
He's on a 4-year, $118 million deal.
What is he?
With
Is
the
he?
potential out this year.
They might still cut him.
Wait, there's an out this year still.
Mm-hmm.
His total guaranteed this year is 18.8.
But do you go into 2023 with Malik Willis and
Or I'm
Will
sorry,
Levis?
I'm sorry.
They're two completely opposite guys. I
Dead
think.
cap this
Well,
year.
not
is-
really.
Dead cap this year.
No, but I
18.8.
think.
And his cap hits 36.6.
Yeah, that's a lot of cap.
That's crazy. What does Tennessee have? I know it's a different scene.
11 and 41.
What does Tennessee have picks wise this year, Johnny? I know you got all that. It's just going to take you a second. Because that to me would be the question. So they've got 11, 41, 72, 147, 186. No, they're not trading.
No.
They're not trading up. They need too much on that team to trade up. So
I guess, I mean, I like Jalen Carter here too. It's a little high for me personally, but I think, like you said, I forgot they did sign that freaking corner. I like Jalen Carter again. You're taking best available.
They signed D-line too. If you look if Johnny brings up Detroit, they signed D-line to free agents. They signed D-line. They signed corner. The linebacker was like a need here.
There's just not a linebacker I like at this. There's nobody.
Well, it's Gonzalez. You like Gonzalez here. If Detroit's not trading down, to me, it's Gonzalez.
That's what I'm thinking. I love Gonzalez.
If they're not trading down, it's Gonzalez. I think it's insane that Gonzalez goes this high, but hey,
it's not.
That's fine.
I've been high on that guy from frickin' week.
Let's go. Is that where we're going? Is that where we're going?
Gonzalez.
We're going Christian Gonzalez.
I've been high on two guys that keep gaining traction. Funny enough, and that's Gonzalez and Hutchinson.
Right. Now we got the Raiders. Oh, I hate this. The Raiders. I hate this.
Have fun with that. Will Levis, he fits the system.
Will Levis fits the system, but you take Will Levis in the first round after signing Johnny G did like a $100 million contract.
Jimmy G.
Johnny.
No, they signed Johnny G on the mic. His same injury problem.
Hey, take Paris Johnson. You're going to need some more offensive line to help Jimmy
What's the
G.
Raiders signings, Johnny? That's crazy. You know what, though? Jalen Carter fits here.
He does.
Because they just restructured Max Crosby.
Jimmy G, Amir Abdullah, the running back. Josh Jacobs is the non-exclusive franchise tag. Jacob Johnson re-signed as a fullback. Wide receivers, Jacoby Myers, Philip Dorsett.
They don't need wide receivers. I know that.
Tackle, Brandon Parker. Defensively, it's Jerry Tillery, Curtis Bolton, Robert Spillane, Brandon Faison, and safety Marcus Epps.
I hate to say this. I think Jalen Carter goes here, and that's because nobody traded up to get him.
I think this is where he drops too. I think he drops down. I had him 8 to 12 or whatever. But
I think the Raiders would be stupid to pass up on a guy like this. Now the problem is his pro day didn't help him.
Hold on, the stereo. Well, I can't say stereotypical, but the typical Raiders.
This is
player.
Johnny's argument that Jalen Carter is going to be going to the Raiders since the start.
it fits.
Right, yes.
Car accident.
It fits.
Well, not even just car accident, just the recklessness off the field issue.
So Jalen Carter going to the Raiders. Here's the fun one. Mariota's gone. Desmond Ridder. You got Atlanta Falcons at number 8. We still don't have a trade.
You need a lot on this team. A whole. Who was the signings again, Johnny? For Atlanta?
They had a lot.
They had a shite ton.
Well,
mostly
they don't
defense.
need corner safety. I know that for a fact.
Hey, Zach, I would love a shiny dollar.
Dude, I think Johnny, if you pay Johnny league minimum for one day, I think he would do it.
I'd do it.
Oh, fuck yeah.
That's a year's salary for Johnny. Like league minimum for one day.
No.
Yeah, it's league minimum. League minimum is like $350. So when you cut that up per game, it literally would be 1 year salary.
I thought it was a lot more than $350 was league minimum.
No. Veteran minimum is like $500,000.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So who does Atlanta have a quarterback now?
Desmond Ridder, and they signed
Heineke.
They signed Taylor Heineke. So I think what they're going to do is they're going to try the Ridder thing.
Yeah, they're going to try the Ridder thing.
And I think if they do come in last, they're a quarterback candidate for next year.
So their big things were Heineke, fullback Keith Smith, tight end Jonnu Smith, tackle Caleb McGarry, guard Chris Lindstrom was re-signed to his massive contract.
So they don't need offensive line at all.
Edge Lorenzo Carter, D-line David Animata, linebacker Caden Ellis, safety Jesse Bates, and punter Bradley Pinion.
So I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Let's say the New York Jets lost their first overall pick to Green Bay this year.
Oh, I would be happy.
So the New York Jets pick at, 12?
13.
13, okay?
So that would become Green Bay's.
Now Green Bay picks at 13 and 15. Does Green Bay trade up here? Does Green Bay trade up to get Jalen Carter?
Jalen Carter's gone. Jalen Carter's gone.
Yeah. Jalen Carter just went to Vegas.
The question is, do you see Green Bay
going
trading
after a wide receiver?
Will Levis?
I think you're going to try with Jordan Love because what do you have to lose?
Your fandom?
They ain't going to lose. That's one of the most diehard fandoms around besides like the Browns.
You're going to lose your fandom?
The
See you
Packers
guys.
would get so much grief because they traded up to get Jordan Love to cause all this turmoil with Rodgers.
It's going to happen.
To then, when Rodgers leaves,
So I have a question for you. If
To-
Will Levis drops,
what? To
if Will
13?
Levis drops to 13, do you take him?
If Green Bay has the 13th pick. Yeah, so if they would have 13 and 15, it would depend on.
Or do you take your best available player at 13, and then if he's there at 15, you're like, poof, I'm all in?
It would depend on the other picks from now till 13.
Do you think Will Levis is better than Jordan Love?
No.
Probably not.
I don't know what you have with.
But I don't even know who Green Bay's backup quarterback is to Jordan Love.
Jordan Love.
Right,
I like
so-
Jordan Love. So
You
if they-
like Jordan Love? You just said you didn't like Jordan Love.
no, I said
No.
I like Jordan Love.
No,
I like
he
Jordan
said that
Love.
he liked Love more than Levis.
Yeah, I like Jordan Love. I think
All right.
I think he's in the shadow behind Rodgers.
I need someone else
nobody's
to do this
talking
mock
about him.
draft with.
So
I'm sorry.
I would say.
I could see them going up after him. I guess.
I mean, I would say if he falls to 15, yes, and 13, I would take who we've talked about and who other mock drafts have taken with Green Bay at 13.
He's not falling to 15.
I don't disagree. However,
He's not falling to 13, to be honest with you.
well, but hold on, if Atlanta, they don't really need a wide receiver.
I'm taking him in Tennessee.
Chicago, they really don't need a wide receiver.
I'm
right
taking
now.
him in Tennessee. If he drops to 11, I'm taking him in
Philly
Tennessee.
does
Will
not need a
Levis?
wide
Yeah,
receiver.
why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
No,
why wouldn't you?
I'm not talking Levis for the second pick, or I'm sorry, for the first pick.
And Liz is tough with Atlanta. They signed an edge, but I feel like they could use another edge in Miles Murphy.
I would say from now to 13, the only team would be Tennessee that would want to take a quarterback.
My thing with
They
Atlanta,
could use a wide receiver.
my thing with Atlanta is if the top 3 edges were there, which they're not, they trade out.
Wait,
if we
who's-
don't
who's your
have a
top three
trade,
edges?
if we don't, well,
There's only been
Miles
2.
Murphy would be the other one, but I think this is a reach for Miles Murphy.
No, this is definitely a reach for Miles Murphy.
So
Definitely. So I'm thinking wide receiver. Here.
I think,
Well-
but here's the issue with wide receiver here, right? This is also a reach.
so Lindstrom is
This is why I think if the Jets or if the Green Bay Packers do have the ability to trade up to get a quarterback to the Atlanta spot, jump Tennessee. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not going to cost much because Atlanta doesn't need to draft here. They can still drop down, still get Miles Murphy at 11
Yeah.
or 13, 12,
13.
whatever the hell it is.
I like that. I would do that trade.
That's why I'm saying that. The
So-
question is how much. You're obviously going to give up the 13, right? Or maybe you give up the 15, depending on, I don't know, Green Bay's thought process.
So this trade's already done.
So
Like, this trade with the Jets
Right,
is done.
but we're going
I mean,
to assume. I'm
is
assuming that
done.
this year's first round pick is going to
Yeah.
Green Bay. I'm assuming.
100%. There's no way it's not.
Green Bay would be stupid to trade a quarterback and not get a first round pick
Right.
this year, especially an MVP guy.
Right.
Next
Let
year's a
him-
whole other story.
I'd have him retire before I let him go for nothing more than a first.
Right.
So my thing would be is even though that they're semi decent with their line, would you not take Paris Johnson to
no.
beef up the opposite?
No,
who
because-
they signed. You have so many other needs on that team, especially defensively. Your offensive line is pretty stout with Lindstrom and the guard you signed, or the tackle you signed. Paris Johnson, I like Paris Johnson, but I just don't think he would fit with Atlanta right here.
Okay.
How do
I-
I trade on here?
I don't know how you trade on that.
It's up here,
Oh,
right where the hands are. Those two.
All right, I'm going to trade Green Bay.
you're having Green Bay trade up.
Well, I'm looking. Can you can't pick players on here, can you?
You can do that with PFF. Do you want to switch to PFF real quick?
I'm just going to throw a 20. I don't like doing this way.
You want to do? We can switch to PFF. I know you can do players on PFF.
You can, but that's why I asked Johnny to do PFF because it makes it a little better. Because I think we should trade this first round pick.
You
and
want?
make it,
You want? We can
make it
switch
more
to-
realistic. Can you? Are you on it right now, Johnny?
I'm gonna try to start it up. First was
Because I think
with
that would
Price.
be. I think that would be the most realistic.
100%. I don't see that not happening though, because it's pretty much already done. I think they're just waiting to hammer out the details and hammer out the.
CJ was second overall, right?
C.J. Stroud was second overall. Yeah. And if you go to third was Tyree Wilson. It ain't bad. Nope, it's still. There it is.
Oh,
Check. Back on. So there it is. Okay,
There
sorry
we
about
go.
that, guys. All of a sudden, Wheels was trying to make us all go deaf, crossing wires over here.
sorry.
You'd think he was back in high school.
Streams. It's not my fault.
So let's just do. I'm going to do a quick recap. Just jump back into it. We got Carolina taking Bryce Young, Houston taking C.J. Stroud, Arizona taking Tyree Wilson, the Colts taking Anthony Richardson, Seattle taking Will Anderson. We've got Detroit taking Christian Gonzalez, and we have Las Vegas taking Jalen Carter. Right now, we are contemplating the Atlanta situation and trying to figure out who Atlanta is going to get, or if they're going to trade down, because we're trying to update the Green Bay situation. So, Johnny, if you want, just trade Green Bay. Like, they have Green Bay trading Aaron Rodgers for the Jets first this year and first next year. Just do that.
Can I go to the Jets' pick right now?
Are you on your? Did you get past? Well, no. Yeah, you can. I think.
Because I can't select the Jets right now in order to do
Did you
anything.
did you start the draft?
Yeah. Or do I have to do that before starting the draft?
I don't know.
No, you can do it when you're on the team. When you
Can you click on the team and then make a trade?
But not at pick 13. I can.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Can you find a way to make it a trade for the Green Bay Packers to trade the Jets, and then the Jets or the Green Bay to trade up to Atlanta?
So
Yeah, I think you can pick one team and then change the other team.
where's Green Bay at?
Green Bay is 15.
So Green Bay, you can't change the other team.
No.
Oh, that sucks. So
We might be able to do it prior. Hold on, let me go see. Hold on.
Well, that's why I said here you can do a trade, and I can
Sorry,
just,
guys.
yeah, I can just trade two
Hold on.
picks.
And just say.
Yeah.
So you're saying that Green Bay is going to trade to get 8?
Well, I'm gonna say Green Bay is gonna trade, obviously. To
You
get
can
the
do it
Jets.
prior. You can do it if we restart it. You can do it at the beginning.
Oh, can you?
Yeah. So Green Bay would trade Rodgers for the 13th overall, and what? You want to do a third? Not that it matters.
Oh, this doesn't even allow me to comp it. It's funny. Oh wow, that's crazy.
So
There we go.
What, editing the draft order?
Here. You want to go and bring up Atlanta's needs real quick?
So Atlanta needs At 8, a quarterback, which we said they signed Taylor Heineke, cornerback. They just signed Jesse Bates, the safety out of Cincinnati. Running back, they still have Tyler Algier and Cordero
one's
Patterson.
already up to
Defensive
date.
line would probably go to the top. Edge would go to the top. Wide receiver would go to the top, and D tackles. So that's probably what they need more or less is edge, D line, wide receiver, D tackle. So that being said, we're trying to make a trade, and
No, Jets.
we're editing the Jets trade with the Green Bay Packers to update this as live as we can. That's the hardest part right now, though,
Right. I mean, I don't know what else.
because technically the Jets have the 13th pick,
yeah.
and I think with the Green Bay Packers at 13 and 15,
Start.
that they can trade up and get what they want without giving up too much, because Atlanta doesn't move that far back. So you're good. I'm not even on it.
Okay.
I'll just collect the picks where they're at, and you guys could keep me updated. You all right there? Good. Don't try not crossing your streams again, big guy.
I know. It's not
Make sure your
Ghostbusters.
wires in between your legs.
So
Did you figure it out, Johnny?
I'm just trying to update it all now.
So you want me to go through the picks again?
Fourth was
4th was Richardson to the Colts. Seattle, Will Anderson.
fifth.
Detroit, Seattle had Will Anderson. Detroit did Christian Gonzalez. Jalen Carter to Las Vegas.
All right.
And now we're on Atlanta.
And now we're trying to trade Atlanta.
I'd say that Green Bay, and you're NFC, so like you would have
Yeah.
this. I'd say Green Bay moves up here, don't you think?
they have to, right? I mean, it would make the most sense for them to move up.
And they're not going to give up their other first-round pick. They're just giving up their one first-round pick to move up.
Yeah.
And then they can probably give up a second, or they can even give up the conditional for Aaron Rodgers if they get a conditional. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just
They could turn this into Paris Johnson. You could turn this into anything.
They would not trade up to take Paris.
No, I think
don't
Paris
think
Johnson
so?
might drop. But here's the thing, though. What's your left tackle who's injured every freaking year?
Bakhtiari?
Yeah.
He restructured his contract too.
They're not going to take. I think that they have to go defense, or they go Will Levis. But I just don't know if you trade up, like you said, for Will Levis. Do you give up to go get another quarterback with Jordan Love coming in? Because now, I think Green Bay would be afraid to go into the season without a quarterback.
I think that what they would do is that they would trade up to get a wide receiver and they would take a quarterback in the second.
Johnny, speak again. I can barely hear you.
I think that
There we go.
they would trade up to take a wide receiver and they would take a quarterback in the second.
I don't see them taking a quarterback in a second. There's nobody in this draft that's out of the top 5 that's, I think, capable of being those guys.
If they truly believe in Love that much, then
They would have to.
right.
Can you zoom in on the PFF so people can see? Because I can barely. I know you're worried about the trade side. I'm more worried about the picks than seeing the. So what are you thinking, Wheels?
I think we take wide receiver here.
Wide receiver? You just Atlanta goes wide
No,
receiver.
I think the Packers trade up.
You think Packers trade up to get a wide receiver?
Yeah, I think the Packers trade from 13 to 8 to get a wide receiver.
You think they go Quentin Johnson?
No. I think they go Jackson Smith and Jigba.
That's
Well, if that's the question, right? Okay,
Right.
so we just said Atlanta needs a wide receiver too. So if I'm in Atlanta, I'm not going to trade to a team that might get the receiver I want.
right. Well, but does Atlanta with Kyle Pitts, Jonnu Smith, and
Jonnu Smith's not a
Drake
receiver.
London.
He's a blocking tight end. We just said this. They took
So-
that contract just to kind of clean up their cap space.
right?
Atlanta, I could see wide receiver here. Do you think they trade down anywhere?
Well, if that's the case, if you see Atlanta going wide receiver, do you see Atlanta going best wide receiver off the board, which would, in our case, would be Jackson Smith and Jigba?
I think they. Can
I
go-
love Njigba going there just because you got Drake London and Jigba, right? Because Njigba's
Yeah.
more of a route runner. Drake London's just a stretch the field guy. Kyle Pitts becomes the slot guy, right?
Kyle Pitts is the slot guy. He's a slot wide receiver.
Right.
They just have him as a tight end for I don't know what reason.
I can see them, and then you just gave
I could
if
see
none
them,
of these quarterbacks this year are your guy, you just gave your quarterback next year 3 weapons under contract.
Do you think this is too early for Kalijah?
Kansas? I think this is high for Kansas. I like Kalijah, but this is high for Kalijah.
They don't need. They could use a corner, I guess. No, they signed a corner, didn't they?
Yeah, they signed a safety,
Yeah.
Jesse Bates.
But Witherspoon's here.
I mean, they always need defensive help on that team.
Yeah. I think.
But I don't know.
This is a tough. Atlanta's in a tough position.
Atlanta's in a great position
because they
because they
so
can get
many-
whatever they want or they can trade out.
I mean, do you think they go Will Levis
Here's
with Desmond Ridder? I mean, and Taylor Heineke. I mean, it's Quinn Johnson. I could see.
Here's a
going
question
here,
for you guys, and I don't know. Does
obviously.
Pittsburgh trade up to get Paris Johnson?
They do need tackles.
They need
They
a
need
solid
offensive
left
line.
tackle.
They need
yeah.
offensive line.
But to
Bad.
trade up from 17 to 7.
8
or 10.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's not going to take more, but
Right.
they've been known to do it. And maybe they trade a guy like
So I have the Patriots, Commanders, Bucks, Jags, and Jets.
I have the Bengals up
Interested
here.
in pick 8.
Phillies up here. I mean, I could see. I could definitely see.
This one's got me stumped. I wish I had Ryan here for this.
I know.
one.
I could definitely see them trading with the Steelers for a tackle here, if they think that's their guy, and you obviously think Kenny Pickett is your guy because you took him in the first last year,
It would help Najee too.
and you are going to help. I mean, they really don't need wide receivers. I mean, what does Pittsburgh really? I mean, yeah, you could use a couple of defensive pieces, but they always draft really well. So you got George Pickens, you got Deontay Johnson. I mean, those are obviously your 2 wide receivers. You got tight end. You got I can't remember. his freaking name.
Freiermuth.
Yeah, Pat Freiermuth. So I could see Pittsburgh trading up. The problem is how much are you giving up to move up to 8? That's a lot. You're moving up 10 spots or 9 spots.
So
They do have 2 first-round picks.
who?
Pittsburgh.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Well,
They
technically,
had
got
the 32nd
They have the
from
32nd from
Technically.
Chicago,
right.
Well, it's technically the first pick in the second.
second round. Yeah.
Now, good job, Miami.
Wow.
What?
I don't know. They say that Pittsburgh has to give up way too much, like almost 3 or 4 picks.
I would not doubt that.
I could see them giving up a 17 and 32. That's about it.
They're not
For-
giving up 32. They're keeping
for-
32. I would give up to move up to that spot. I would give up. Trying to find Atlanta again. Sorry, this is not an easy thing on this website, and it won't let me unselect for some reason. There we go. I'll just click the team. Okay, so if I give up 17 to move to 8, it says I need to add something else, right? Obviously. So what if I give up a 3rd, and then I give up a 6th rounder? See, it won't get like to me. Oh, it did it. A 3rd and a 6th next year.
3rd and 6th.
I gave up the 3rd round this year and a 6th next year.
So what, the 49th pick this year?
Yeah,
And then
and then the
third
6th next year.
Oh,
So if not, I think I'm gonna say
I'm probably gonna have to.
I need
undo that.
quarterback, wide receiver, edge, and linebacker here.
I'd have to force this. It says that they're not interested in trading for this pick.
Whatever. It's weird. Sorry,
So
I just restarted my whole draft, so
Okay.
it's on you guys. I'm just watching now. So I don't know. I think I just pick what you're gonna pick for here at Atlanta because I think let's go BPA for Atlanta at this point.
which is Will
defensively.
Levis. Oh. So
Yeah, I think they're gonna go def. I mean, do you hate the Devin Witherspoon pick here?
I don't
You
hate
can
it.
never have too many corners. We've
Yeah, I
seen it
don't.
time
I
and
don't
time
hate
again.
it. That team it literally needs help. I think
You need everywhere. I don't think
Yeah.
you're going to take a wide receiver here because I think you can get one a little bit later, and you're still free agency. Offensive tackle. You signed what, 2 guys here, so I don't see them going O tackle. I see Devin Witherspoon going here more than wide receiver because you need to stop. You need to help your offense as much as you can with stopping them from putting you in bad positions on the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
So I have them drafting Devin Witherspoon personally.
Oh, geez.
What?
Juan Thornhill just said all of the pieces to make Super Bowl are in Cleveland.
Oh,
So
boy.
he just turned into greedy.
That's not a good. I do not like
Why?
that.
Why you don't like confidence on a team?
You haven't played one
You
snap
haven't done anything.
in Cleveland.
Cleveland
It doesn't
hasn't.
matter. You can still have
The
confidence.
last
in your
time
team.
Cleveland was good was what when it beat Pittsburgh in the playoff game. How many years ago?
Back to back games against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
2020.
So
Oh.
Chicago.
So are we
here,
gonna take
I'm
Witherspoon?
taking Witherspoon. Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
take Witherspoon there.
All right. So
So-
Chicago at 9,
Chicago, you don't need wide receiver here, obviously.
which is funny because the needs is that's.
Yeah,
the
I don't
first
think
thing.
it's updated.
Well, I don't think they have. Yeah,
Right.
the updated.
You need offensive line, I think here.
So this is where you would take Paris.
This is where I'm taking Paris Johnson Jr. If I am Chicago, let's bring up their team needs.
Which is
were-
funny. So Skoronski's here.
I just
Way before Paris Johnson is ranked 19th at the moment.
yeah, I don't like Skoronski. He's got short arms. I think he's all of ours number 2 tackle coming out at least. I personally take Paris Johnson Jr. here. What's your thoughts on that pick, KJ? Paris Johnson Jr. to Chicago. Do you think it's a bad pick?
I mean,
They've been beefing up
Chicago's
the offense.
beef up the offensive line. I think if Chicago needs to do anything, it's got to be another defensive pick.
I think there's not really anybody here that you're not reaching for unless you go Kalijah, and even for Kalijah at 9, that's a maybe like Lucas Van Ness. That's another guy that you're reaching for.
Johnny, who was at 6? Christian Gonzalez.
Yes.
Wide receiver, you don't have a need quarterback, you don't have a need tackle. They could use some offensive line, defensive line. I like Kalijah Cansey, but do they take best available for what they need?
I don't know. This is a rough situation. I think if anything, this could be a place where they take a wide receiver. Personally.
What? To Chicago?
So you got
With
Chase Claypool, right?
You got DJ Moore. You have
Darnell Mooney.
and Robert Tonyan now.
Well, you have DJ Moore. Let's put it that way.
I think if anybody, so wide receiver here, yeah, I guess I could see. I think they're going to go after a big body guy, Quentin Johnson.
I can see, I can see a wide receiver going here.
Do you see Quentin Johnson, big body guy? Chicago can play. He can probably play in that weather.
I think Chase Claypool. I know it sucks.
They're small. Those guys.
But
I
you
mean,
gave up
Chase
your
is
your
6
second
foot,
round pick for Chase Claypool.
and didn't
But
work out.
that doesn't really matter at this point. So, but I think the Darnell Mooney thing is the other thing. What does Edgar say?
Right.
The Jets no need coach. Rodgers is coaching. Think first.
Okay.
Okay.
I think here you're gonna, I guess, it's Quentin Johnson. I like Jackson Smith and Jigba, but if time has told me anything, Chicago likes their.
So you're saying Rodgers is the coach?
Yeah. I think Quentin Johnson fits that Chicago system. Big bodied wide receivers. Chicago likes their big bodied wide receivers.
So
I mean, I
you're
could see
not
it.
having Baltimore take him.
I guess not. Not now.
All right.
That's up to you.
Is
man.
that what
You're
we're
on
agreeing
Chicago. You have like 4 picks in a row.
Yeah, it's just not. This is tough.
I mean, here's the other question, right? Like, so,
Oh,
Johnny, what did
This is
Chicago?
hard.
You said Chicago beefed up their O line, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
Well,
Did
I said they just beefed up their offense.
All right, Chicago. I think they picked up.
Yeah, they've been focusing on offense.
Yeah, but dude, like a Skoronski, that's a guy that I think could fit in Chicago, because if you move him into guard, he also can play tackle if you have another guy that struggles.
So they did get Nate Davis as well.
They got Nate Davis. Skoronski could work here.
You think?
I like Skoronski here.
I guess they wouldn't have asked him to be a tackle, though, right?
Skoronski could work here. I like it.
Okay.
You going Peter here?
Skoronski.
You going Peter here? Or not Skoronski? Sorry,
Quit.
Paris Johnson. Sorry,
Paris Johnson. I was gonna say that's who I was taking.
Paris Johnson could work
I
here.
had him or I had Quentin. I'm gonna go Paris Johnson Jr.
Where the hell is Paris Johnson?
He's
19.
19.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
All right.
PFF. I'm
Paris-
sorry, but I don't agree.
Paris
with the
Johnson
ranking.
here.
So
And now we go to the Eagles, which they have wide receiver, which makes no
Right.
sense. They do
Well,
not need a wide
so
receiver.
the
I don't
argument
think.
was that,
They
and
need
I was hearing this, was that
depth.
AJ Brown was gone.
What?
Yeah, because of how much money he was making, he's going to be a cap casualty.
There's
But now,
no-
obviously, A.J. Brown has multiple times come out and said, I'll take a pay cut, whatever you need to do to pay Jalen Carter.
Okay.
Or
Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts. So,
They do need a guard.
it makes no sense.
At the same time, I think A.J. Brown would restructure to make
Yeah.
sure that.
I hate to say this.
He had his best season ever. Why would
Skoronski
you leave
works
that?
here.
That's what I was about to say. So
Yeah.
Skoronski is viewed as a left tackle, but any tackle can play guard, right? I think we all agree.
Easily a tackle can play
With
on
that. The
inside.
difference that makes you put between a guard and tackle is usually your arm span
Your first step.
and your first step. That's what's going to make you a tackle. So guard is a much easier position to play after you've already played tackle because you're not going against the top defensive guy that's
I
is
like
fast.
Skoronski. I didn't think they'd get a chance at Skoronski.
No, I like Skoronski
here.
here. So you have back-to-back tackles going here, which I don't see this not happening. I can definitely see this happening. And they need a guard, they need a center, because obviously you have Jason Kelsey who's going to retire next year, most likely.
Right.
But Skoronski can play anywhere on that line, in my opinion.
Right.
I think he fits. He's a viable piece.
Yeah, anywhere but center.
And you lost Andre Dillard, I believe,
Yeah,
So
I
you
like
definitely need a
Skoronski.
guard here.
I like Skoronski here.
which is Skoronski. And then you got Tennessee. Which
All
is
right,
your
Tennessee.
pick.
So, here's the thing for Tennessee, right? We're struggling here because we have Tannehill under contract. You said there's an out this year.
Yes.
I like Will Levis here because I think if you get a guy with a young fire, and he's probably one of those guys that's going to have like that Josh Rosen mentality coming into this league.
I'm the best.
I'm the best here. There's no way you're going to pull me away from this.
I think Will Levis is a lot better than.
The only issue I have
Josh
with this,
Rosen.
right? The only issue I have with this is Jackson Smith and Jigba is here, and I need another AJ Brown. I need another wide
But
receiver.
let me tell you this. I have always been around the belief of building up your team before you draft the quarterback.
But that's
I do
why I'm
not-
saying. So, like,
But
do you
do you
give
think
Tannehill?
Tennessee-
Tannehill did it with AJ Brown and Corey Davis.
Exactly.
So can you go through one more year with Tannehill and see what'll happen? But the
Because-
problem is Malik's not the guy. We've seen Malik's not the guy
Yeah, and you're gonna have some free agents next year.
because we all
Well,
think
so
Malik was a
Jackson-
bust.
Jackson's not a big guy. Quentin's the
He's
big
5'11", I believe. Jackson's is small.
No,
PFF
Jackson
is saying 6'1", 190.
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
My bad,
he's
sorry.
not big, but Jackson Smith is like he is a route running receiver that is a possession guy too. But he can also go like Jackson Smith and Jigba is probably the most well polished wide receiver coming out of this draft.
I'm not disagreeing, but
So-
who else do they have at wide receiver? Who
have-
was the rookie?
You
there?
have Traylon Burks.
Yeah.
Traylon Burks.
So
Who's-
that's their big body. So
Right.
as long as his asthma's not.
Well, I
hitting
think
him.
he came back towards the end of last year and did something.
They-
It's just a matter of like what
They
he
could
did.
use an edge here on defense, but they're not.
I don't
going
think they
to.
go.
They're going-
We've
they're
already
going
said they
wide
don't go
receiver.
defense here.
No, they're going wide
so
receiver.
I would.
I think we go.
I don't know. Because who's their other quarterback other than Tannehill?
Malik Willis.
I don't think Willis is he's an RG3. He's not going to throw much. He's like, I should rephrase, he's like Justin Fields. He's
Yeah,
not
but
gonna
it
throw,
doesn't
he's
mean
gonna
you're
run
in
off.
on Malik Willis. You drafted him in like the 4th round.
Well, but that's why I'm saying I think I would take Will Levis.
So here's the thing, though. You can also wait for a quarterback next year.
There's two
and-
quarterbacks next year, in my opinion.
Well, we'll see. There's a
Yeah.
lot coming up. You haven't had the NCAA next year, so like a lot can change. Look at Kyle Pitts. Like nobody thought. I said Kyle Pitts. Look at Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought because he had horrible first 4 years, his growth was in his 5th year, and that's when he got drafted.
So you have obviously Caleb Williams and May out of North Carolina. Those
Well-
are your two top quarterbacks for next year.
For now.
For right now,
it's
there's
just so hard to
there's
say.
usually about 4 quarterbacks that get taken in the
So
first
I'm
round.
gonna say this, and this is just because I feel this way. I'm going Jackson Smith and Jigba because I think based on Tennessee's decisions last year, they literally changed the entire front office because of the trade. AJ Brown, and they also got burnt on not taking Ohio State wide receivers. And Jackson Smith is the most well-rounded wide receiver out of this draft. Quentin's the biggest.
Right.
Well, not technically the biggest, but he's the biggest
Yeah.
playing wide receiver.
Right.
So I'm going to go Jackson Smith here at Tennessee. And I know everybody can say that we're biased to Ohio State players. That is what it is. But these Ohio
what
State
they produce,
Yeah,
so
they've been producing
can hate me if
receivers
you
for the
want.
last 5 years, 4 years, and they've constantly produced linemen.
Curtis Samuel, Michael Thomas, Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson,
Terry McLaurin.
Terry McLaurin,
Uh,
Paris Campbell really didn't do
Yeah.
anything.
Oh, you already said Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel, yeah.
I mean, it's just been the last
decade.
decade. The last 5 years, they've been producing people. So
They're
it's like,
the best. They are the best
They're the
team
wide
in the
receiver house.
yeah.
so
Big Ten. They're
Or the
wide
wide
receiver
receiver
U
school or
for
whatever.
Big
Yes,
Ten.
yes.
100%.
so now we go to the Houston Texans.
You drafted
this-
CJ.
Yeah, we drafted C.J. Stroud at the beginning.
Which is funny that this still says the needs is quarterback.
Well, it won't update the needs. It's just
Gotcha.
saying. So the other issue is, did they pick up any wide receivers in this offseason?
That's what I was about to say.
Robert Woods on an overpaid contract.
Let me ask you guys this though. So let's say you take CJ Stroud, and yeah, Smith and Jigba is there at 11, but
I take Smith and Jigba.
no. Tennessee's there, but you want to get Smith and Jigba. Do you give up whatever it takes?
So
to go
they
get
are
CJ Stroud?
they're
Maybe.
expected to have Noah Brown, or I think he did sign. They picked up Robert Woods.
There's so nothing.
They
don't
did
have
sign
any.
Noah Brown. They did sign
Oh,
Noah
okay.
Brown, I think.
But Noah Brown that's nothing. He's a 4. Robert
just
Woods
wonder
has been
if-
nothing since he's in his injury.
I have a question, and this might be crazy because this is high.
I like Elijah Cansey here.
Nah.
I'm sorry.
Did they go Whippler,
Luke
or did they wait
Whippler?
Whippler? Because we said this is high, but we also said Whippler's the best center, and you just put the center behind his quarterback.
I like that. I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Could be.
You got chemistry there all day.
Where does Houston pick in the sec? They pick. You know what? I'm gonna hold off on Whippler.
Yeah, they got 33.
Let's go Kalijah. I think
Yeah,
Kalijah. They need
Kalijah.
D line. They
Okay.
got to beef up the front of the defense. They got to
I
get
like
to the
that
quarterback.
pick.
They got a good secondary. Let's go
So,
Kalijah.
Johnny, we got your Packers. I want to let you pick here.
Okay.
So we got Green Bay picking at 13 because we made the trade with the Jets for Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
So,
Will Levis is here.
So if
And you have a pick. Don't forget, you still have a pick at 15.
And
Jackson
the
Smith and
Patriots pick
Jigba.
Will Levis. Go ahead.
Jackson Smith and
He is
Jigba
white.
dropped to 13, it would be I would have taken him hands down. But that's just me personally. That's not their main option.
But keep in mind what they always do.
Right. They trade up to get their wide receivers first thing in the second, aka Christian Watson.
And they also normally go defense first.
Right.
You can take Luke Van Ness here.
So I would
Murphy.
either look at these three: Brian Branch, Lucas Van Ness, or Joey Porter. I know in mocks they have Dalton Kincaid or them drafting a tight end at 15. But at the same time, I might look at Miles Murphy just because he's already familiar to that area in the country.
Yeah.
With the weather and everything of that nature. Same thing with Lucas Van Ness.
So,
Just because they're used to the cold. Unlike Brian Branch without.
sorry guys.
I like Luke Van Ness here. Like you
So they
said.
need safety and they need edge.
Right.
So-
but I would probably go with Lucas Van Ness here.
Okay. that's what you're
If
taking.
Jackson Smith and Jigba
Yeah.
was not here, and I think I'd feel comfortable enough that New England would not take a quarterback here to then take Will Levis at 15.
So you would take Will Levis.
I
Or do you
would-
think it's Jordan Love?
I would
he's
take
picking 15 too. So
yeah
just so you
yeah
know.
I would take Will Levis at 15.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take Lucas Van Ness.
So we got Van Ness going to Green Bay at 13. As the Patriots, this is a
You
scary
need.
thought.
I think Miles Murphy.
This is a
here.
scary thought.
I don't think New England would take Will Levis here just because they have Mack, they have Bailey, who they were somewhat high on,
Tap tap tap.
and who else did they just pick up? I can't remember on the top of my head, and this doesn't have it either.
So I don't really know what the hell the Patriots. You know what? I kind of do, but I just don't know if it's. I think it's high.
I don't think that they would. Well, then again, I don't know. Because there's stuff that Will. Would
You know what? I think just as a I should probably go to like the 50th player in the draft and just see who's there.
Then you know who they're taking here? Mark Evans the second.
Oh, don't even start the Mark Evans talk today. Stop it.
D1, HBC. They just beat.
Nah, you know what they're going to do? They're going to go Nolan Smith here. This is a typical. They'll go edge. They've seen the edges coming off the board.
Really over Miles Murphy?
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to. The reason why
Where the hell is he even ranked?
above Miles Murphy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
that,
right
am I
above
just
Miles.
that out of it? Oh yeah, he
So
just
they're going to
doesn't
go
have a
Nolan
picture.
Smith. So you think that Will Levis is going to Green Bay now?
I would, yes.
I would say that or
So
Washington.
here's
So,
my
well,
issue.
so hold on. So are you for sure taking Nolan Smith?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just making
Here's
sure.
my issue with Will Levis going to Green Bay now in the first round. And I know I talked up Will Levis possibly going to Green Bay. Is you have to choose if Jordan Love's your guy next year.
Yeah,
right?
but this is a smart move for them because guess what?
Yeah, but
if
he's
Jordan
on a
Love-
5th-year contract. So, but now you're stuck. If Jordan Love was the guy, and you sign him, now you're stuck with another first-round quarterback.
You're just
So now when you think
speeding
about
up the history.
Yeah.
in
Now,
Green Bay.
now when you think about the cap space, you're in a situation of, oh, shit. Because now if Jordan Love turns out to be the stud, right? Like you guys think that he could.
I don't think he's going to be. He's viable. Let me say he's a viable starter.
If he turns out to be a franchise guy, which I do not think.
No, he's
But if
not.
he turns out to be a franchise guy, you just drafted Will Levis. You now have to trade him.
The only other right.
The only other person I see them taking here is Quentin.
So the other thing that I would see is because Washington also needs a quarterback, and if people are really truly unsure what Green Bay is going to do, I could see Washington trading up.
Washington just signed.
Jacoby,
Oh yeah.
but he's not.
He's a
full-year
bridge.
guy.
Jacoby is a bridge.
Right.
So what would
So-
it take
so
for
that-
Washington to trade up one pick?
I don't. They won't trade.
Yeah,
They
well,
won't
You
trade.
don't think that they
No,
would?
they would just assume Green Bay would not pick him. Like
what are you doing here, Johnny?
unless somebody else were to trade with Green Bay to get ahead of Washington.
Right.
Which I don't have. I mean, Seattle maybe.
I don't think Seattle
But
wants
I
a
don't think
quarterback
Seattle-
that bad.
no.
They're not stupid.
Buccaneers no, because you got Kyle Trask, Baker. Detroit no.
I like how we're talking ourselves out of a quarterback.
Steelers no. Miami you forfeited. Sorry.
The only other
Chargers.
what I would see is that
Maybe the Ravens. You know.
You never know because draft day is late April. You never know.
I could still since
I would
Miles
just to
Murphy-
piss off Lamar.
I could see them still staying with defense and doing either Miles Murphy.
Another edge put on the opposite side of Luke Van Ness. I don't hate that. That's
Right.
good. You imagine?
Why wouldn't you? If I were them, I'd probably go for C though. I'd go interior.
Or I would look at a linebacker and the
They
best-
do need safety, so
Bill-
Brian Branch
right.
is a good decision. Linebacker, this is
You do
high
need
for
a-
a, this
you-
is high for a linebacker.
You do need a tight end here, Johnny. You got Kincaid. You got Mayer.
You do need an offensive weapon, and I had them taking Dalton Kincaid here last time we did a mock.
And
Right.
if you were the GM, since they don't have one actually, what would you do?
Oh my God, they moved Dalton Kincaid above Michael Mayer.
That's where we've had him.
Wow,
We didn't like Michael Mayer. I like Sam Laporta more than Michael Mayer.
that's so funny.
But knowing Green Bay,
Well, they just got rid of Tunyon.
but Green Bay normally, like you just said, they normally will take defense in the first.
I don't. Well, that's they
Yeah, but
did.
they're-
You did.
they're-
You already did.
They're gonna.
You just took an edge
They're gonna
at 13.
slight Rodgers. They're gonna give a big fuck you, buddy, and take somebody on the offense here.
Well, but that's how I felt that if Jackson Smith and Jigba
Yeah, if he's
fell,
there, they're taking him.
it would be both offense.
So personally,
Again, in spite.
personally, and I hate to say this, but I think Brian Branch.
So you're still
probably
going to keep
makes-
saying Brian Branch?
I think Brian Branch, and this is because of Ryan's thought process, right? Safeties, you have to offer them a big contract if they're good. And if we think Brian Branch is going to be as good as we think he is, Brian Branch is a guy that you can sign, but you want to have him as long as possible without paying him big money.
And you get a 50-year out of him.
And you get a 5th-year option out of him.
Okay. I'm not hating that.
So that's my thought
So
process.
you're taking
there.
Brian Branch.
So
I'll
Brian
I'll
Branch
take
here?
Brian Branch. Yep.
All right, Washington.
Will Levis.
I mean, that's
That's
right.
they have to.
It's on you, man. Like I think
I'm
their
taking-
defense is solid. I
I'm
think
taking Will Levis here because you got what Jacoby, which I love Jacoby as a
And
Browns
Sam
fan.
Howell or Baker
Or,
2.0.
and, yeah, Sam Howell. I mean, he has a lot left to be desired.
why wouldn't you take Hendon Hooker?
I'm not taking Hendon
Not in
Hooker
the
this year.
first.
Don't worry, I have a plan for Hendon Hooker, and you're
Stop
gonna
it.
fucking hate it.
No, I'm not, because I'm gonna draft him before you.
All right.
No,
All right. So Will Levis
Yes,
is going here,
Will Levis,
correct?
yeah,
All right.
All right,
100%.
so
Sorry.
Will Levis is going to Washington at 16. All right, and I will continue to say this to the day I die. It fits so well.
Joey Porter.
Yeah, here's my issue with Joey Porter is they just signed. Was it Patrick Peterson or the
Yes.
cornerback?
Yes, Patrick Pierce.
So they just signed him. Doesn't mean they don't need
But
another
again,
one.
I was just gonna say, who's on the other
like
side?
Safeties, you can never have too many, and
Yeah,
you don't
I-
want to give them big contracts. You get that 5th year out of them.
But the question is, do we think that there's a wide receiver here that makes a difference on this team?
No.
No, I don't think
They already have.
Quinn Johnson does. That he fits Baltimore.
All right, I'm gonna go Joey Porter here. I think Joey Porter is a good
I like
decision
that
here.
Detroit. They need defensive line linebacker.
Brian Bresee, they need
That's
interior.
who. That's what I'm taking. Brian Bresee all day here. There's no way that if Brian Bresee or Bresee, where the hell his name is, if he's here, they're not taking him. He's 20th ranked.
All right, give me a minute. I gotta use the restroom. We have
All right, well,
the next 2 picks, so talk it up.
So Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay here. Quarterback. You're not taking a quarterback. You're not taking Hendon Hooker because you have Baker. You have Kyle Trask.
Well, so of the ones here, not Tanner McKee, not Hendon Hooker, not in the first A-League.
No.
Aiden O'Connell, no. Jake Hayner, no. Stetson Bennett, no.
Do you think they'd be stupid to take a tight end here? You have Cade Otton.
No. I would say because they're not signing. They already released Cam Brate, and Cade was producing towards the end of the last year.
Yeah.
I don't think that they would, or if they were to take a tight end, it would be more of a blocking tight end.
Yeah, that's what I'm just trying to see. They need defensive interior guard and center.
I was gonna say I think that they would either go guard for the offense to help Baker or Trask, whoever's gonna start, or they just go with their defense because their defense I think has been lacking in the offseason. I think people have signed elsewhere.
Yeah,
So if you do that, you got Miles Murphy. Who else?
Yeah, Miles Murphy.
Actually,
Actually,
Smith,
you know what?
BJ Ujulari.
Did they release Leonard Fournette yet?
Yes.
Yeah, he got released
the
other day.
So you're thinking Bijan
Would Bijan fit the Buccaneers? Do you think, or is that?
I think the issue with that is with
with Rashad White.
Okay.
They picked Rashad White in like the second round.
I forgot
last
about
year.
that. My bad. So
I've been saying this for a minute because you guys keep saying Bijan to Tampa Bay.
Well, so here's the other.
I have not been saying Bijan.
There's a lot of people that have been saying Bijan to Tampa Bay, but like the Rashad White, the only issue with taking Bijan here is I think you have other holes you need to fill at a cheaper cost.
I would
like
not,
Miles here.
I would not be opposed for them taking a wide receiver because Mike Evans and Godwin are both hurt a lot and older.
Mike Evans rarely hurt. He got suspended for 1 game last year. He
Cri-
played all season.
No, he missed 3 games, I think.
That's
One was on suspension.
I thought.
Hold on.
Remember he punched somebody in the sideline.
It was
That was Marcus Lattimore.
So, so who do you take here then? Because this is a good
Did
place.
only miss 1 game. Okay.
So you have Cade
my
Otton.
bad.
You have Cade Otton. You got rid of the other tight end.
Great.
Your Cameron Brate.
That's what I was saying, but I don't think they take one this early because you still have some confidence left in Cade Otton.
Here's what I think.
Cade was a rookie last year, so you still have to see what his
that's what
value
I'm saying.
is for
So
1 full year.
Here's what I think is in this situation.
Corner, I don't think.
No, I think they go guard or tackle.
Which I mean,
and I think the reason why you do that is because you're going with Kyle Trask and Baker Mayfield, and these guys aren't the fastest quarterbacks.
So Anton Harrison's the highest ranked.
Yeah, Anton Harrison, but I don't think we have Anton Harrison that high.
I like Broderick Jones.
I think we
I
have
was just
Roger
gonna say,
Jones
I like
over
Broderick
Anton.
Jones here. He's a tackle though, which makes no sense.
But he can slide him into a guard.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm going to take Broderick Jones here. That's what I was.
And you can also, what didn't we say? The Tristan Wirfs.
He's going to switch to the left side.
But he can go to the right side.
He can go back to right.
And you can take Broderick Jones.
Wirfs is switching
He's a right
sides
tackle.
from Donovan Smith. Donovan's I can't remember his last name.
Yeah.
Them releasing him.
Which I don't
Right.
understand why you would move your young right tackle to the left tackle.
But I think
That's
they probably
asking
thought
a
they were going to
lot.
get a Paris Campbell.
Right.
Yeah, but I think they're going to take Broderick Jones here.
I like Broderick Jones here.
You
Beef up
mean-
the line.
You
if
mean Paris Johnson, not Paris Campbell?
I do that every time.
Paris Johnson Jr.
So Broderick Jones here at 19.
Yep.
I don't think it's a
So,
reach. I think it works.
Yes.
Seattle, I'm taking Hendon Hook. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well,
So,
Seattle. So like this
They
is
need offensive line help.
yeah, and this is another spot for a guard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like we sit here, and I love DeJuan Jones,
I do too. DeJuan Jones,
and I think he fits the right side of the line. I think they got a left
which
tackle
I don't understand why he's still low because I like him more than
because he's a right
Harrison.
tackle.
Yeah, but
He's a right. You don't draft right tackles high.
Just in Cowboys or Texans are trading Brandon Cooks to the Cowboys for a 5th this year and 6th next year.
well, that just fucked up our draft heavily.
No, it didn't.
They need a wide receiver. Oh no, we took
No, the Cowboys don't.
No, the Texans. I think I took.
Texans
I
now
took.
do.
No, you took Elijah Cansey.
Well, I think Njigba was gone.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So we're good.
But I also said based on where we were at, they drafted 33.
Yeah.
So-
Jackson was taken right before the 12th.
I know who you're taking at 33.
No, you don't.
Yes,
no,
I
you
do.
don't. All right, go Seattle. So
Go
that
on,
actually
Jones.
didn't really mess up too much. The only thing that is, and we haven't gotten to Dallas yet, that says Dallas doesn't want a receiver.
Okay.
So
We weren't going to take a receiver for Dallas anyway.
No.
So
Brandon Cooks has now been traded 4 times.
I wanted him.
Dating back to 1980, he ties
I
Eric
want
Dickerson.
DJ Chark. DJ Chark in
but he's
Cleveland.
not
He's
signing.
26.
Sorry.
He,
Go on, Johnny.
he ties Eric Dickerson for the most times traded all time.
You know what's funny is you're right because he's never a free agent.
So I'm taking DeJuan Jones here.
Fitzpatrick was always a free agent. Oh, we're going DeJuan Jones here.
100%.
So DeJuan Jones.
So you're skipping Anton Harrison and going.
I don't
DeJuan
like
Jones.
Harrison. And yeah, you can say it's Ohio State, but if you look at the guards that
DeJuan Jones is like 6'6", like 300. This dude's huge.
if you look at the guards that Ohio State had,
6'8", 350.
their left tackles had a
Thank you.
holy shit.
It's huge.
Yeah, if you look at the guards Ohio State had, so you had Whippler, you had Paris Johnson Jr., and you had DeJuan Jones. Our guards were trash this year. They collapsed so easily. So the tackles had to pick that up. And both DeJuan Jones and Paris Johnson Jr. did phenomenal. And I watched every single game, so yeah.
So that's funny that
I like
Noah
him way
Brown
more.
Noah Brown went from Dallas to Houston,
And then they traded Brandon Cooks.
Yeah,
That's
funny.
not. I mean, that's expected.
All right, we got the Chargers.
So Chargers here.
I
I think
think
they need a lot of offensive line help. They just saw 3 tackles go off the board. I think they're going to have to go tackle here.
I think you take Anton
and
Harrison,
Anton
right?
Harrison
Yeah.
goes here to the Chargers.
which is weird because we all said it was going to be a heavy defensive draft, but we're right
well,
here.
it's
We're in
funny
the
because
meat
we
of
did
it.
our power rankings, right?
We're
and we
in
ended up
train.
having like 10 tackles
Yeah, we did
in
them
our
yesterday.
power rankings.
But it fits because if you actually look at the team needs,
Yeah. So
And
you know what's funny about
it's
this,
a
right?
passing league, so you want to protect your guy.
Quentin Johnson.
Yes, Quentin Johnson.
They're
If you don't
taking, they're
if
taking
you-
Zay Flowers.
No,
Stop
they're
it.
not. They are not taking Zay Flowers.
You know what's funny, actually?
Ryan
so,
on Chipotle betting you.
Hold
They're
on.
not taking
I
Zay
have a question
Flowers.
for you because does Miles Murphy go here? This is a Ravens pick.
No, you gotta take wide receiver.
You gotta
have
force
to.
the hand on Lamar.
You
I
have
gave
to.
you a weapon.
Yeah, show me what you have now.
I don't
There's
know.
no excuses.
Everybody has Zay Flowers going
'Cause you
here.
well- you damn
And
well know
To
if-
be honest, we have Quentin Johnson so low in our power rankings. We have Zay Flowers. I'm going to take Zay Flowers. I'm going to stay consistent with what we've got. Best receiver on the board
Okay.
for us is Zay Flowers.
Because if you do not take a wide receiver here, then everybody's like, oh, they don't believe in Lamar. No, now we believe in Lamar. Let's see what you have. We're drafting a wide receiver in the first round for you.
And we have Duvernay and Bateman
And
healthy.
Bateman. And
Correct.
I think Zay Flowers will be better than Marquise Brown. They're the same size. I love Marquise Brown coming out of college. I love the way he plays. I love Zay Flowers. And I
Correct.
compared him weeks ago to Marquise Brown.
yeah, I mean,
And you guys railed me.
because I don't think either of them are good
No,
personally.
I like
But
him, though.
these guys love Zay.
I
These guys
think-
love Zay Flowers. They love Marquise Brown. He said he's better than Marquise Brown,
He is.
and we'll see. And I
Ooh.
think his dedication's better. So you got Minnesota now.
Corner.
Yeah. So I mean, they need interior D, but I
there's-
think they signed.
Yeah,
they
they-
had some great signings interior D, but I think they also signed corners.
But you,
Johnny, can you bring up their signings really
they
quick?
lost Dalvin Tomlinson.
So they signed Marcus Davenport. Oh, they didn't sign interior
no,
D.
you
line.
need interior D line here for sure. Then, 'cause
And they
you have
signed Byron Murphy.
so you're
right.
on a corner.
Yeah,
you're fine
okay.
at corner.
So, well, you're okay at corner. You still need some depth because that's
So-
where they were sucked.
So the best ranked is Mozzie Smith, Siaki Ika.
Miles Murphy.
Favor.
Oh, you're talking interior D?
Yeah, I'm talking interior.
Okay.
So, Keanu Benton, Moro
Here's the
Ojamo.
here's the thing though. When you look up just D line, some of these guys like Miles Murphy. I like Miles Murphy on the edge, but there are some like Uzama out of Kansas State. He's probably more of an interior guy. He's not that quick on the edge. So like you can take an edge and push him interior. Mozzie is right there, and you know me and you hate Mozzie
I love
at this
Mozzie.
spot.
Yeah, I hate
because
Mozzie
we
at this
want to see him
spot.
drop in the second.
So would you take Miles Murphy over Mozzie?
I love Miles Murphy's ability, but I don't.
They don't need edge.
Let
They need
me
interior.
check and see their edge. I know they just signed an edge.
They have Marcus Davenport. That's who they just.
Well, that's who
signed.
they just signed. But who's on the other side of that line, right? So Go ahead, keep talking it up.
I don't know. I mean, Miles Murphy, he's 6'5", 275. Compared to
Miles Murphy played at Clemson, ACC school. Obviously, he's been in the heart of competition for the last couple of years while he has played with Miles Murphy. The overall grade for PFF
they just signed
79.
They just signed the D-edge Kenny Wilkes.
Oh, all right.
I forgot that was one of the
do you
signings
think
we didn't
then
have
they
on
maybe
there.
go corner here?
So
Here's their D line. They got Ross Blacklock. They've got Sheldon Day,
Sheldon Day hasn't been bad.
Dean Lowry.
Who's their corners? Besides,
I can't believe they signed Lowry from Green Bay.
Who's their corners?
And then they got James
besides
Lynch.
Byron.
And then they got Otemewo. And then they've got Harrison Phillips. So you actually have a lot of D line. And then they have Chris Tonga. Did they re-sign Chris Tonga? Didn't they lose Chris Tonga? No, I think they re-signed Chris Tonga because we talked about that earlier in the season. When you go in cornerback, their cornerbacks are Kalen Barnes, Andrew Booth Jr.,
I forgot they have Boots.
Caleb
Marcus.
Evans, and then Tay Gowan, and then Byron Murphy.
They're not taking corner
The
here.
Vikings lost Cameron Dantzler, Patrick Peterson, Duke Shelley, Chandon Sullivan. Those were all corners. And then they lost Eric Kendricks, the linebacker, Delvin Tomlinson, D-line, Jonathan Bullard, D-line, Irv Smith Jr., and Adam Thielen.
Do you think this is way too early for the linebacker?
I don't know. This might be the best spot for the best linebacker. But
Which is...
I'm looking at their safeties real quick.
Oh.
Cameron Bynum, Lewis Sine, they have safeties. I like both those guys too. Harrison Smith.
I like Trenton
Josh
Thompson.
Woodson. So you know what?
But-
This might be the perfect spot for the top linebacker.
Which is Trenton Thompson.
Or interior D, which could be
Mozzie.
Mozzie.
This is tough.
Or would you
But I think their need based on what I just saw was linebacker higher than D line.
Yeah.
Would you take Diane Henley over Jack Campbell?
One more time.
Would you
Diane Henley,
over Jack Campbell?
Washington State.
Iowa.
You guys liked Campbell though, didn't you?
Yes.
I like Campbell, but I like Trent Simpson.
I was
He's
just
my
gonna say
number
you
one.
got Trenton Simpson too.
My issue with Dayan Henley is
His size,
it's school.
right? Isn't he smaller too? I don't have his height crap over here.
Well, and that's why I said Jack Campbell over Henley because of school.
I like Jack Campbell because he's a run stopper, and that's what they
Right.
need. To help
You know
with
what? That's a
the
good point. If you're,
interior.
that's a good point. If you're going to take interior line and you're going to skip the interior line, get a run stopping linebacker.
Yeah, which I like Jack Campbell.
That's
here.
a good
I mean,
point
It's a
out of
little
Iowa.
early for a linebacker, but
That seems high though but you don't pick again till
It'd be this.
you don't pick in the second round.
No, you don't pick until the third. Yeah,
It,
so
it might be Jack Campbell here.
we're gonna do Jack
I mean,
Campbell
it's the
here
same
then.
thing with Dorian Williams. I mean, I'm high on Dorian, but
I think you have enough D line. I think it might be Jack Campbell here.
So you got
you take
Jag.
Is
Yeah.
that who you're taking?
Yep.
Jack Campbell?
Next up
that,
is the Jags.
That might be a reach, but at the same time, like we haven't done a trade yet. They could trade out of that spot, trade down. Jacksonville here.
Guard, center, D-back.
You know what? I think
Deontay
you got to
Banks.
go corner here.
Deontay
No, Cam Smith, right?
Yeah. Cam Smith. We like Cam Smith more than Deontay.
Yeah, so I think we got to go Cam Smith. They have Deontay Banks and they have
Emmanuel Forbes.
Forbes above him.
Which we really,
But-
we weren't a huge fan of Forbes.
You know what? Everybody's got him ranked higher. I just think the school wide receivers you play, it's a little different.
So Cam Smith.
So we're gonna go Cam Smith here. I think Cam Smith fits here. They need a corner. So the New York Giants is another NFC team. So obviously needs wide receiver, but they've got Wan'Dale Robinson. They re-signed Sterling Shepard. They got rid of Kenny Galladay and Darius
Isaiah-
Slayton. I don't know what the hell is going on with Darius Slayton.
And you got Darren Waller.
Yeah.
And you just got Darren Waller at tight end, but we all know that might not last.
Hodgins they just signed too.
They did sign Isaiah Hodgins.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
The problem
like a wide
is-
receiver here, but at the same sense,
It makes sense for.
Jordan Addison.
Well, you just saw a linebacker come off the board too.
Yeah. They could use an edge. Oh, no, they don't.
But again, so now we're Trenton Simpson, Diane Henley, Drew Sanders.
Do you go
Dorian
Avila?
Williams.
You go Avila here?
I like Alex Avila here. Hold on, let me go see.
No, the center, Steve Avila, out of
I know,
TCU.
Alex Avila.
Is it? Yeah, well, you said Alex. I was like, huh?
He's a catcher, I believe.
Just going different sports now. Steve Avila out of TCU here.
Whippler, Joe Titt.
Well, I think Avila, everybody has him ranked higher.
Yeah, Whippler we like a lot, but everything that I've seen has Steve Avila out of TCU.
TCU got a lot of good rankings this year, but I'm telling you, when they didn't show up in the championship for us, it hurt all of their
Or
rankings
do you go
for
with
us.
Cyrus?
John Michael Schmidt.
Well, Osiris Torrance isn't a center.
Okay.
He's a guard.
Steve Avila is, and he's a guard on PFF
Well,
too.
but he is a center.
I know he's a
So
center.
Steve Avila is an actual center, and if you need a center, he can play guard. But if you need a center, like this is to me like you got to beef up this O-line for Daniel Jones and Saquon.
You got John Michael Smith.
And they have drafted offensive linemen every year, but they don't do it in the first
You
round.
got Joe Tittman. You got Luke Whippler. You got Steve Avila.
I'm just saying, like you just signed wide receivers.
I
You
think
just paid Daniel Jones,
I like Steve Avila here. He's a center
center out of TCU.
on TCU.
Is that who you're going to take here?
Yeah. He's the best available center, in my opinion, for what everybody has ranked. I like Luke Whippler more, but I think the way that I would draft it is he also can play guard.
Well, I would say they have PFF has him listed as a guard.
Okay.
And I am taking Bijan Robinson.
To Dallas.
Yep, not even going to let you pick it. Not even going to let you
I
pick it.
figured they would take. Don't worry. That's who I was taking anyway, so don't worry.
Yeah. So after getting rid of Zeke, Pollard, you're not going to go into the new year without a running back.
No.
And he's from Texas.
Right.
So let the kids stay home.
So since you took Dallas, I'm gonna take Buffalo for
That's
you.
fine. Take Buffalo.
And they need. Who'd they lost? What? Did Jordan Poyer come back? Or they
Poyer
lose?
came
Yes,
back. They
Poyer
restructured
did.
Poyer
but
and he
they
extended
lost.
2 years.
They lost Micah Hyde, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't like the Micah Hyde thing, but go ahead.
But is he? I mean, do you think they go D back here? They go guard. They go center.
So offensive line's a need.
I think you're
because
gonna need to
their
help.
run game's
You're
an
gonna
issue.
have. Yeah, you're gonna have to protect.
This is a place that Whippler could go.
I was thinking that or Cyrus.
Well, the reason why I say Whippler is because Whippler can play center or guard.
I've been seeing mocks that Jahmyr Gibbs goes here, or that they take the first running back if Dallas doesn't.
No,
Do you think-
they just drafted James Cook, and they already said they're going to put it in James Cook's hand.
I have
People
still-
are stupid. Don't listen to
Yeah,
them.
they're not. As a Buffalo fan, I would be mad if they take a running back.
You
here because
just
of who
traded
they
for the
have.
kid out of the Colts.
get rid. But he's more.
rid of
Raheem
that-
Hines, right?
But he's the kickoff. You know,
It doesn't
kick
matter.
return
He's a
punt.
running back.
You still have Devin Singletary.
You have
But
Singletary.
I think that they would.
still.
I think that they would get rid of Singletary, if that's the case.
That can happen, but why don't you look that up on SpotTrack and see what their Singletary's contract is? Because it might not be worth it to get rid of Singletary. And then in the same situation, like we just said, you just drafted James Cook in the second or the third. So like you and James Cook, as he got the
Second.
ball in his hands, was playing better and better every game.
The problem is Sean McDermott's a moron and doesn't like to run the ball with a running back. He uses Josh Allen, which guess what? Josh Allen's going to miss 3 games next year.
Singletary's a UFA this year, so they don't have Singletary.
So he's a free agent right now.
yeah.
Unrestricted.
He's not on anybody's.
He had his 4-year
That's
rookie
funny.
contract, 3.890.
He's not on
I'll be
anybody's
honest.
radar.
I think Buffalo would go out and sign somebody before they draft somebody because there's so many other needs on that O line. I think I like Osiris Torrance here, and or Luke Whippler.
Well, the reason I told you why I said Whippler, but I mean you could take Torrance. I don't care. Like Torrance is a big body guy, and we like Torrance.
Yeah. And I think
The
that
only
helps with
reason
the
I
run
said
game.
Whippler was because a center. If you need a center, he can play guard or center. But the reason why Steve likes Whippler so much is because of what he did against Will Anderson.
Which I mean, I like Whippler here. It's more. The guard's going to help you more in the run game than a center will.
Yeah, and
And I think that's what you have to build up. Is you got to build up that run game, and I think that's going to help Josh Allen. Yeah, a center. Who's their center right now? I have no idea who the center is, but
you're good. Keep talking.
I like Osiris Torrance here. I think he gives you a lot more upside. He's like he said, he's a big body guy, so he's going to help you open the hole. He's a good blocker.
That's what she said.
So, I don't. As much as I love Luke Whippler, I just don't think he fits the need of a guard with a big frame that Buffalo needs right now.
Greg Mance,
I don't know who that is.
Mitch Morris.
Mitch Morris is their center. That Greg
Yeah,
guy.
Mitch Morris, yeah,
Greg
Mitch
guy's a
Morris.
guard.
Yeah, Mitch Morse. He's not bad. So yeah, I would have to go with Cyrus Torrance here. I would think.
I like that. So we're going Torrance to Buffalo. He took my pick. Dick. I probably
Sorry.
would have done that too, so it's cool.
Cincinnati.
Osiris Torrance.
Cincinnati, don't forget they signed Orlando Brown Jr.,
Yes.
so they don't need a tackle now.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done tackle.
Okay. They do need a corner. Because, and
you guys are
safety.
probably going to hate me for this one.
They need corner and safety. They lost Jesse Bates and they lost can't remember his name.
Yeah, but my issue is I don't think there is a corner here.
Deontay
that
Banks,
I like.
really? You don't like Deontay Banks? Yeah, I know. We have Deontay as a second round guy. That's right. Right?
You guys might hate me for this, but this is just what they've been doing. I'm going Dalton Kincaid here.
Really?
They just lost Hayden
Hayden
Hurst.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
I just.
Okay.
I don't hate that.
Or do you think that you already clicked the pick? Didn't
I
you?
already did.
Shit.
It's okay.
I was gonna say, or
we
do
can
you
go
think?
back,
Or
it's
do you
fine.
think that?
I think we can go. No, we can't.
No,
go
you
back,
can't
but
go
we
back.
Can always
Or do you
adjust.
think that Michael Mayer?
I like Dalton Kincaid more. I think he fits that system better.
But they still need offensive line, right? We think. Let's put it that way.
They don't have it. They have defensive line, corner, and tackle.
You know what? I'm going Dalton Kincaid here, just because you lost Hayden Hurst. You don't have a tight. Who is their tight end? Like, hold on. I actually have this shite up, and I don't pay attention to myself half the time. All right, Cincinnati tight end. View full site. Come on, team. Let's go. Depth chart. Let's go. Come on. Today roster. Let's go. All right, tight end. They have. This is an alphabetical order. Devin Asiasi,
Asiasi.
Nick Bowers, and Tanner Hudson.
Cincy.
Per sleeper, all it shows is the Devin Asiasi.
Per the
Asiasi's the only
NFL
guy he
Cincinnati
likes.
Bengals depth chart roster,
I'm
says Tanner Hudson,
just
Nick
saying.
Bowers, and
In other
Devin.
words, they have no one.
Yeah, they have no one to begin with.
And Hudson's 28, Bowers is 26, and Devin is 25. The reason why I said Michael Mayer possibly is because of the blocking perspective, and if they think he's mini Gronk with
Mini Gronk.
with quarterback, why is his name disappearing? Joe Burrow.
I'm sorry.
Holy cow!
It's all
If
right.
they think that, like, could you imagine that being like a Tom Brady, like, thing? Tom Brady, Michael Mayer, Joe Burrow. I'm taking Dalton Kincaid here.
I like
All
it.
right.
I compared Dalton Kincaid almost to like a Mark Andrews.
All right, we got
more
the
or less.
Saints here.
Yes.
So
Defensive line or corner?
they don't need corner. They re-signed, or they restructured.
Lattimore?
Yes,
I
Marcus
could
Lattimore.
see.
But what about the opposite side of Lattimore?
All right, so I could see Houston trading up right here to get a center, Luke Whippler, because you have the Eagles right below them who have Jason Kelsey
But they've got him signed.
for 1 year.
Well, so Houston's picks are 33, 65, 73, 104. You know, at least for the next 4 picks.
I don't think.
So you think Houston would get rid of 33, and they would what, like 200, 202, one of those? Give New Orleans back.
There's no way.
187.
No. Hold on. There's no way Philly takes a guard or a tackle and a center both in the first round. No way.
Okay.
I personally do not see that. I think if they're going to do anything, this is a spot where they do trade out, Philly, where they would trade out a 30,
I don't know.
or they would go running back.
Philly's lost a lot of their line.
Right, but he just drafted Skoronski, which is a guard.
Okay.
Kels
tackle.
is coming back. We like to say guard for Skoronski.
He is a guard.
Kels is coming back, and I think you need to either draft an offensive weapon or they lost their DNs.
Yeah.
So, do you go Miles Murphy for Philly? Like, this is a great spot for Miles Murphy.
We're in the Saints.
Well, yeah,
I'm
we're
trying
still
to
on
figure
Saints
the Saints.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you were saying Philly would go
Yeah.
center, and I don't think Philly goes center, so I don't think
can see
Houston
that, yeah.
trading up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And we already know that KC is probably going to go tackle, or they're going to go
Wide.
D-line because of
Wide receiver.
Yeah, wide receiver.
you can go wide receiver. I mean, they probably will go wide receiver personally, just because But I'm telling you right now, if Miles Murphy's is there, or if there's another edge that they are astounded by, depending on their pro days and stuff, why wouldn't you? Lost Frank Clark. He has not re-signed.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and they've already said, Dave pretty much came out and said Patrick Mahomes can do it with what we have.
Yeah. So
And Travis Kelce. So,
with the Saints, I'm taking Deontay Banks at corner because of who they lost.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I like that pick. I think it fits.
I
that.
just don't know if Deontay Banks or Forbes is better, but I don't.
I like
I
Deontay
also
Banks.
like, you know me, I like the kid out of TCU.
Yeah.
So
So we got Philly here, which we think they take Miles Murphy. I think.
I think Miles Murphy, yeah,
The fact
only
that-
because of the Jordan Davis, they lost their other edge,
Yeah.
but whatchamacallit did come back. Fletcher Cox did come back
Yes.
for a year, so that's a huge plus for that D line. So
So
you got Miles Murphy here to Philly.
Yep.
All right,
So Kansas City, I would say, actually will take a wide receiver because they did lose Juju. Mecole is free agent, so it's what, Sky Moore.
yeah, you know what,
Else?
I agree.
Jordan Addison,
No, it's going to be Quentin Johnston.
Quentin Johnson.
It's going to be Quentin Johnston
You
here.
think so?
I don't think Quentin Johnston makes it out of the first round.
I don't know.
It's you just got to look at what Quentin Johnston's did all last year with a guy that they are saying is not even going to get drafted.
You don't think that
Like-
they would take a short, speedy guy like Jordan Addison over Quentin?
No, because you have Sky Moore, short, speedy guy, and you still have Kadarius Toney, speedy guy.
Okay.
So I think Quentin Johnston's a big body receiver.
possession guy.
He fills Juju's role really well. So I think Quentin Johnston to KC, and that's where I picked him.
We got the Steelers, which is yours.
So,
All right, so
what did
second
I?
round.
So,
Or-
so I have the Steelers taking Joey Porter in the first round at cornerback. And you know what? You guys might not like this one either, but Jordan Addison's going here.
I
think-
don't hate that.
I think they take Addison here.
You got the Texans now again.
Damn, this is rough for me because
Hey.
they just got rid of.
So now it's
You got to remember who's left. You got Luke Whippler left.
Well, they just
too.
got rid of Brandon Cooks.
Shit.
So
Josh Downs.
Josh Downs fills Brandon Cooks' shoes pretty damn well. You know what I'm saying? Like,
have to say
or
so, yeah.
but you don't have another pick in the second round. So
You're gonna have to go Josh Downs here, unless you would have traded up for a wide receiver.
I think you're going to have to go Josh Downs here. I think you give up
Yeah.
on the center. I think you hope to God for 1 year that C.J. Stroud can scramble.
So who did I take with Arizona in the first one?
So for sure you took Josh.
I took Josh Downs of the Houston Texans here. I think he's the
I
better.
took
I think he fills
Tyree
Brandon
Wilson.
Cooks'
Tyree
role.
Wilson. So since I'm taking Luke Whippler here, if I'm
Yeah,
Arizona,
yeah. If I'm Arizona, I'd probably go center. You got to protect whatever's back there.
and then you got the Colts. That's your pick, bud.
Damn, I can't believe you went Whippler.
Right?
Colts.
Whippler made there.
Colts. I have Anthony Richardson.
Luke Whippler with Arizona.
Colts. I have.
Oh, no.
Anthony
I'm
Richardson.
saying the Colts.
Alright,
For this pick,
Alright,
are you taking Hendon Hooker?
No, Colts. Colts just took Anthony Richardson.
I'm just saying it to be funny.
So, you know what? This is a rough one for me, just because of what's coming out.
Don't worry, I know where Hendon Hooker's going.
That's the next pick, isn't it?
And this sucks because this is a reach for a tackle.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
What?
Oh no, he's saying
No.
for me.
He'll figure it out when I pick.
The Colts. I think this is a reach for a tackle.
Yeah. So wide receiver, obviously you have Michael Pittman, Alex Pierce,
Yes.
Alec Pierce. You got Jonathan Taylor,
Chigozie Monconquo.
Dikozium Conquest.
No, that's Tennessee. Isn't it?
Tight end. I don't know who you have.
That is tight end.
That's what I'm saying. They don't have.
Chigozie
him. They
Monconquo.
don't have. That's the Titans, I think.
Is it the Titans?
I
I can never
think.
remember.
Michael Mayer here, maybe.
I think you're right. No, I think the Colts is Chicozium. Damn it. I gotta look.
You take offensive line.
Hold on. Let me go to the Colts real quick and check their roster.
Alec Pierce, Ashton Dolan, Jelani Woods, Moelle Cox.
It's definitely Chigozium.
Chicosium. How do you spell that name?
Hold on, I'm just gonna look it up. I have the team here. Apparently, stop asking me to subscribe. Team,
I don't know how to spell that. So
position, scrolling down to tight end. Oh no, Ogletree.
Alec Ogletree.
Yeah. You know what? Michael Mayer.
Okay.
The only reason I say Michael Mayer here is because you get the blocking aspects.
So
and you still get a weapon in return.
edge here. I think they go edge.
Hold on, let me click Michael Mayer. Jesus. And it's also the best player available too, is Michael Mayer.
So I'm thinking edge for the Rams, right?
Do you go edge or do you go? See, this is the issue. Like, tackle here, is it
But
a
who's
reach
left?
because of how many is gone? You know what I'm saying? Like, we've gotten rid of so many tackles. Is it a reach here?
I think it is
Because of what's off the board.
I mean, you have Bergeron. That's real early for Bergeron. I think Bergeron goes in the 40s.
36. I'm trying to think. I like edge here. I like
Problem is-
Ojulari, but like Will McDonald out of Iowa State.
I like him a
has been
lot.
ranked. You like Will McDonald? Did you look some stuff up last night after we had the conversation?
He looks really good.
Okay, so I mean, then this isn't a reach. This is a perfect place for him.
Yeah.
And it. My only issue is I don't know what side he plays, and does Aaron Donald go wherever?
I think he'll just play opposite Aaron Donald.
Anywhere.
So,
Okay. So you got Will McDonald going to the Rams.
Yeah. So the
Okay.
Saints or the Seahawks, you're gonna hate this pick. I really don't care.
This is Hendon Hooker.
They're taking Hendon Hooker.
Well, I don't hate that pick in the 30. I don't
Because-
hate that at 37. I think if
Because-
Denver had the opportunity, I think Denver would have traded up to get him. But the problem is Denver has no picks.
Yeah, and because you have Geno Smith,
That's why I said if Hendon Hooker makes it to the third, Denver's taking.
yeah, 100%.
So Hendon for sure.
Yep, and Hooker's going to Seattle. I know they just signed Geno, but
Yeah.
you have Geno for a year.
Make me have
You
to
have him
actually
for
type
3
in a
years or
player's
whatever.
name.
So, and Hennon's going to be out for a year. So
I think it's a reach.
There's no. Yeah, it's a reach, but at the same sense as
You're securing your future.
yeah,
at the same-
Geno is good enough to make you competitive, but he's not good enough.
Well,
to win
and you
a
let
Super
Hendon
Bowl.
Hooker sit for a year easily.
Yeah, well,
so
he's injured for the year, so it doesn't
right,
matter.
so that's what I'm saying. But that's why I think it's a reach and not
Yeah.
the third. But actually, that's a real good question. Is Johnny? Can you bring up Seattle's picks and see what they have a pick in the third? Because that could be the question. Is if Seattle has a pick in the third round high,
52,
37, 52, what is-
83,
52 is.
still second.
No,
See, that's not updated
no, it's not updated.
because Miami has 52.
No, they have 51. Sorry, Seattle has 51.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
see, so that's not updated.
So just because of the Miami.
So see, if I were Seattle, I would take Hendon Hooker at 51.
I don't think
and not
Hendon Hooker
37.
lasts because you got
But it's not about lasting. I think he does last.
because you
100%, he does last because everybody else is gone and everybody else is taking a quarterback. Everybody else. in
well,
front
you
of him
got
has a quarterback.
Tennessee there.
Carolina took a quarterback. Saints paid a quarterback. Tennessee, again, I don't know if Tennessee's looking at a quarterback this year because you just drafted Malik Willis and you still have Tannehill. I think you're waiting till next year, solidify the team. Browns have a
Yeah.
quarterback. Jets, if they get Aaron Rodgers, have a
So
quarterback.
should we change the pick now?
Well, you can't change the pick. It's a 38.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't. Oh yeah, I did take it. But I'm just saying. So like to me, you would take the best player available and then come back
Yeah.
to Hendon Hooker because you'd want him in later. So I would take Hendon Hooker at the fourth overall.
So best
that.
overall pick. What are we saying? So just so that we could technically secure that for the 51st pick. Because we all.
I see what you're saying. So let's swap those picks.
Right.
Is what he's saying.
So
for Seattle at 51, who would you take?
Right.
It's got to be D-line, right?
So would it be? So are you going to go
Mozzie.
Mozzie Smith?
I
was
hate
just
to
saying
see him
Mozzie.
go, but it's got to be Mozzie.
Well,
All right.
Mozzie Smith makes sense. So the Browns would have to trade up to get Mozzie Smith,
Yeah.
and it's good to know that because that means I love that pick.
Right.
So it'd be Mozzie at 37 and
Yeah.
Hendon at 51. So
Right.
All right,
So
we're
we'll have to make sure we make-
realize
So we
they
won't
had-
touch Mozzie. We
Yeah, I
won't
didn't
touch
realize
Mozzie.
they had 2 second-round picks. That's my bad. Sorry.
But the other thing it says they say D back. Who did you take? Or no, sorry, it says
No,
D
that's-
line.
that's-
Okay,
that's-
who did
yeah.
you take in the first round? You took a D line.
it doesn't
in the first
update,
round,
remember?
didn't you?
no, I took
Seattle
DeJuan
took
Jones.
you took DN Will
DeJuan-
Anderson.
DeJuan
I
Jones.
took Will Anderson.
You took Will Anderson and DeJuan Jones. Okay, so
Yeah.
I think Mozzie Smith would go there. I think that's a good point. Okay.
All right,
So that means the Browns lose Mozzie. Thanks, bro. So you got the Raiders on the clock.
We
In
weren't
the
getting
first
him.
round, whatever.
He'll be lucky to make it past the first.
The Raiders took Jalen Carter in the first round. So I think.
Do we have any
here-
other? Do we have any other guys who have a rap sheet in this draft?
Have a what?
A rap sheet.
No, but you know what? This is a perfect place for Forbes
Yeah, I like that.
So I'm gonna say they need
Emmanuel
a
Forbes.
cornerbacks though. They're gonna go Emmanuel Forbes here, and then you got Carolina at 39.
Which you took Bryce Young.
You took Bryce Young at 1 overall.
You need a running back. You need a tight end. You need an edge. You got Jahmyr Gibbs here.
This is a good spot for Jahmyr Gibbs in
I
the
like
second
it.
round.
You also have Felix and
But you
Duka
signed Miles
Uzomah.
Sanders, right?
Yeah. So do you take BJ here? Because there's not a tight end that they're. I like Sam Laporta.
Musgrave is sitting there.
I like Sam Laporta more than Musgrave. We love Laporta.
We all love Laporta, but I don't think the world loves Laporta. I love Laporta.
Fine.
That's a hard one. So you got Edge. You already took, right?
Edge. No, we took Carolina took Bryce Young.
That's
remember?
it. Okay.
that's all we have.
I think you would go Edge here.
So you take BJ or you take Felix Uzomah.
The reason why I would take Ojulari is because his school he played at LSU. He had great numbers in LSU. He's touted. I like everything about Ojulari.
So
he played good
you
this
like
year.
BJ?
I don't know enough about Anudike Uzomah
Anudike, yeah.
out of Kansas State. I don't know enough about him.
So the Saints took Deontay Banks. You can use defensive interior.
Oh, I should have put spaces. Look at that, 37. Something happened where it didn't.
Oh, jeez.
That's hilarious. I have to update that. Maybe it was too much text.
Might be.
What's that?
So for the top 100,
It only
Johnny,
does 37.
if you look into it,
does
stops
30.
at 37.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, and it also there's no space between. So maybe there's too much text I put in that box. Maybe
Could be.
that's. So maybe I'll have to do first name.
What are we thinking here with the Saints?
So-
Mozzie's gone.
Well, so who was Carolina?
BJ Ojulari.
Yeah,
out of
Carolina
LSU.
took Ojulari.
Okay.
Do we think they go corner?
I think you go corner here. Yeah.
Another corner.
Yeah,
We
I
took
think you got
Banks.
corners coming off the board. You got Tyreek Stevenson out of Miami. You've got.
I like. Garrett
Wait, did they
Wilson.
go corner in the first
Yeah,
round?
we went Deontay Banks. Remember?
So no, I'd say go D line or D interior D.
Which Mozzie's gone essentially because I messed up that pick. I don't like Siakiaka. I don't like Kiana Benton. I don't like Mora Ojormo. I'm thinking linebacker here.
I was just gonna say, what about linebacker?
That's what I'm thinking. And linebacker, I think he fits the system a little bit.
Trenton?
Trenton Simpson's. I would say Trenton Simpson or Drew Sanders here.
You got to take Day and Henley still there.
I just
Like I said, I like Dorian, but he's in a smaller school.
Dorian.
Williams.
I don't know. This is. I don't know enough about Deion Henley. I watched him. I liked him, but it's the school again that worries me of who we went up against.
I get it.
But
Which
I
you have-
completely understand
you
it.
have
So
but
But of the four available, I would say, like you said, Drew or Trenton.
yeah, I mean, I like Drew a lot. He's a tackle
I
monster.
have a question for you. Now it might be too early. Would this be a play you take Dell?
Nathaniel Dell.
Because you have Olave and Michael Thomas. That's it.
Oh, yeah. Nathan, actually, I would take the net. Let me look at the wide receivers we got out there.
Michael
Well,
Thomas,
Dell is the next one.
A.T. Perry,
Tank.
Rasheed Rice.
ATP. Just kidding.
I mean, Tank's the next one.
Did we really draft all those wide receivers? Jesus, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nathaniel Dell. I don't hate that.
I'm just saying, like, I would go interior D, but I feel like interior D here might be a reach.
Yeah, you're reaching early. And linebacker, I mean, it's not a huge team need, but yeah, I like that or Michael Wilson, but Michael Wilson is way too high.
And like we said, Mozzie Smith's going to be off the board because technically the
Yeah.
Seattle Seahawks would have taken Mozzie.
yeah, so I like Nathaniel Dell here.
Okay.
Take Nathaniel Dell,
Yeah,
and now
'cause
you
pretty
have
much
Michael Thomas plays only a 1-year
yeah,
contract.
he's done.
Then you
He's-
take
he's gone
Nathaniel
after
Dell,
this year.
who is your possession receiver.
and you got
That's
Chris
his point.
Olave,
And then you have Olave, who's your
guy.
outside. Yeah.
Yeah. So now we got Tennessee.
I didn't think about a wide receiver going to Seattle, but now that makes sense. Tennessee, who did I take in the first round?
You took
I wish this was
Jackson
I
Smith
took
and
in
Jigba.
Jigba. Okay,
So you're gonna go tackle linebacker. You could take a Drew Sand. You can take a Trenton Simpson. You can take a DeLeon Henley.
You know what? I got to go edge here.
You gonna go Felix Uzomah? Or are you going to go...
I think Adebawore is pretty damn good.
Oh, out of Northwestern? Yeah, I like that.
But I like the Tua Paluto, too.
You got Andre Carter there, too. You still think that's a little early for Andre?
Yeah, like the risk of... We've already talked about that
Yeah.
one a little bit.
Because you can get pulled in.
Yeah.
And with the way shit's going on right now in
Yeah.
Russia and Ukraine, it wouldn't be opposed to could actually happen.
Yeah, I think... I like Adetomiwa out of Northwestern. I think I'm going to take him here. I think they go edge, and then I think they're going to start solidifying the tackle position a little later.
What about Felix out of Kansas State? Felix.
Uzama,
Yeah.
again, that's why I'm picking the kid out of Northwestern, is because of the school.
All right, so we got the
Gotcha.
Browns. I know who I'd take here. And you're not going to... It wouldn't be Mozzie, obviously, but
Obviously, he's gone.
I would take Trenton Simpson.
You're going to take Trenton Simpson here.
Yes, I would. There's no safety I like. You're not reaching
My
for...
issue is corner, right? Or as
safety.
No, my issue is like you have JOK. You haven't signed a linebacker, so I'm not opposed to it.
And you signed Siaki
And,
Taki to a
Simpson,
1-year deal.
And Simpson plays like an edge.
He plays all over the field.
Can play outside linebacker.
So you don't like Antonio?
You don't feel like that's a reach though.
No, I don't think Trenton Simpson's a reach here. Personally, we have him ranked higher.
Do we have him ranked higher?
I think so.
Johnny, you have the
Top 100.
text document. Can you see?
Where we have Trenton
Where
It's
Simpson.
on the desktop. Can you just see if it's if he's ranked? It's top 100 big board. Yeah, I know that's a bitch to read, but you're looking for Simpson. I don't think we have him ranked that high. Sorry if you guys are looking at us. We're staring at a text document where it's blurred all together.
Right.
Just go line by line. What?
There he is, right there.
Where?
Linebacker. He's 36.
So we do have him ranked higher.
Yeah.
All right. All right, sir. Let's take Trenton Simpson there. That's fine. I'm fine with that, even though it's my pick.
You got the Jets.
The only issue, you know what? Hold on. Did you already click it?
No.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
But you're good. I'm gonna go.
What do you think about like a safety here, though? You lost John Johnson.
Yeah.
Is Thornhill a safety or is he a corner?
He's a safety.
Well, that's why I said Antonio
Okay.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do Simpson because I think linebacker or interior D, and I don't think there's any interior D since Mozzie's gone
Yeah.
that I like here.
I'm right back.
You're good.
Okay.
Because I'll take Atlanta if I need to.
So the Jets here at 43.
Just hit the power button. You don't know how to use your mic?
Hey, I don't.
You're good. So yeah, let me. I didn't.
You're
Click
good.
on, I didn't click on Simpson. I apologize.
Oh, you're good.
So you got Simpson here at 42 for the Browns. Moving on to the Jets. We obviously think they got Aaron Rodgers.
Right. Right. This is with the assumption that Rodgers has been traded to the Jets.
Correct. Rodgers has his receivers.
Right. So I mean, you'd
I
be
think-
looking at the line or.
No, I'm not even going to touch the tackle position just because
No?
I think everything's fine there, to be honest.
So you'd be looking at linebacker.
Yeah, I think Dayan Headley goes here. I think this is a good pick for Dayan Henley. I think he's fast. He works for this defense. And to be honest, it's a defensive-minded team, and they just paid for the offense in the free agency.
Right.
So I think that's what would happen here. Atlanta, who do we have them taking in the first round? We've got them taking Devin Witherspoon in the corner,
Right.
and that's it. They're going to have to go edge here. I think it sucks because we don't like Uzama that much. But you know what? It's not a bad place to like kind of risk a little bit. Take Uzama here at 44. I think that makes the most sense.
So then with Green Bay, like I would be taking a wide receiver.
So what did you take in the first round? You took
I took
Luke Van Ness and Brian Branch. You went defense. So this is definitely a wide receiver or tight end, right?
Yes, I would. So let's see.
We have Luke Musgrave, who's highly touted.
There's
Like I said, we like Laporta. We freaking love Laporta.
There's what 6'4", 229.
It's because he's a big body. Like he reminds me of like a Heath Miller kind of
And
guy.
then
He's not that big, but he reminds me of like a possession receiver. He's gonna get you your first downs. The question is, who do you take? Is it Musgrave or Laporta? I think it for like us, we love Laporta.
Right.
So
Who'd the Jets take?
Jets took
Henley?
Dayan Henley, yeah. and then I had the Atlanta
Uzomah.
Falcons taking Uzomah the edge.
Okay, I like that.
And I really don't like the rest of the wide receivers for now.
Well, there's good wide receivers. The problem is
and-
these guys have these wide receivers ranked low. Brian
think-
loves Michael Wilson out of Stanford.
I like Laporta here.
I was just gonna say between the two, it would be Laporta. I'm
And-
just looking at wide receivers.
And then the kid next to me loves Hyatt.
I don't necessarily disagree
Hyatt,
with
yes, I
Darnell
do.
Washington either.
Did Darnell Washington-
Darnell Washington is a big-bodied.
Block guy.
Right.
Well, no, he's an what's the word I'm looking for? He's not polished. He's not a polished, big, probably unpolished receiver or tight end
Doesn't have
because
a
he
lot of
doesn't
vert
run
threat.
routes well. And I don't know if he's got that good of hands.
He did not.
So like
he was not that good.
Laporta to me is the best kind of all-around guy
right.
because he can block, he can catch in traffic, he can catch the post routes. He did struggle a little bit at the combine
28
catching
receptions,
the
43
flags.
targets,
Yeah.
450
Well,
yards.
Washington's again. Remember Darnell Washington's his true tight end's coming out next year.
Yeah.
That's the guy that showed up.
Rodgers, I think,
Yeah,
or I forget what the way it
Bro Derek. No, I'm just kidding.
is. Bowers, I think is what it is.
So New England's on the clock.
Okay.
I
You're
took
still
Laporta.
Okay.
You took Laporta to
You
Green
took
Bay.
Laporta to Green Bay.
All right.
Okay.
I mean, it's actually not that high of a reach at this point.
No.
Right.
And I like how Laporta's now fourth. Remember, they were like 18th.
Yeah.
It's funny. We're talking these guys right up to the top of the list. All right, so, oh man, who did I have the Patriots take in the first round? Nolan Smith, edge out of Georgia.
Right.
Okay. Let's stay with this thought process. They say quarterback. It's just hilarious.
Right.
Tanner McKee.
But I mean, it's just Bailey
Zap,
Zapp
zap, zap.
and Mac.
Mac.
I will say that they pride themselves on their offense, on their trenches. I'm going to go Berger on here. I think they take the tackle
Burger on
out of
him.
Syracuse. He can play on the left side. Probably will be
Matthew
more
out of
fit for the right,
Syracuse.
but he can play on the left.
So
So
Washington.
I'll take Matthew Berger on to the New England Patriots, and you got Washington on the clock.
Will Levis they took, right?
Yeah, you took Will Levis in the first round.
Do you think they go linebacker,
It sucks. I think they kind of have to go line,
guard, center?
guard, or center, just because like Will Levis, there's no protection there. You have wide receivers, you have tight end.
What do we think
You
about
have a
Voorhees? What do we
defense.
think about Voorhees? I know he's injured.
His ACL.
I think it's too
So
early.
he ain't gonna play
Yeah,
this
okay.
year.
Yeah, I think it's too early.
Still, all right. Do you go Joe Tippmann or John Michael Schmitz at center?
I think you would go. Oh, John Michael Schmitz is still here.
Yeah.
I think you go John Michael Schmitz.
Okay.
Yeah. Where the hell's he at?
Center.
Wow, they actually have him drop below Whippler was earlier.
And
huh?
Joe Tippmann.
Wow.
All right,
That's crazy. That's crazy. So John Michael Smith out of Minnesota going to Washington.
Yeah.
Now we have the Detroit Lions on the clock. First round, you took Christian Gonzalez, cornerback out of Oregon, and you also took Brian Rasee out
Yep.
of Clemson. So you got your interior D, you got
You
your
need a tight
cornerback.
end.
You do need a tight end, and Musgrave's here, and it's not a reach. I don't think you take the other kid, like you said, out of Georgia.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good play if you're being smart.
I mean, Musgrave didn't have a whole lot to do either this year, but
You could take Drew Sanders here. You need a linebacker,
I do like Drew Sanders.
and
here.
that would solidify the defense. The offense performed very well last year, even without Hawkinson.
I do like Drew Sanders here. I
So-
didn't realize he was still here.
Yeah, you
so
could take
I
Drew
like,
Sanders
I
right
like
here.
Drew Sanders.
I like that. Drew Sanders going to Detroit.
Yep.
So then the Steelers.
This is a linebacking team.
It's a linebacking team. They just got rid of JOK. Or not JOK.
Jeez.
Devin Bush, sorry. They got rid of Devin Bush. Who did I take in
you
the
took
first
Jordan
round?
Addison in the beginning of the second.
I took Joey Porter at 17, corner, and I took the wide receiver Jordan Addison. I think you're right. This would be
Dorian, DeMarvion, Overshown, Ivan Pace Jr.
who are you naming off? So you just-
Linebackers. Noah Sewell.
are you speaking into your mic? Or are you speaking away from your mic?
I'm speaking into my mic.
Man, your mic just got
Noah
low all of a
Sewell.
sudden.
You
Doesn't
got your
say.
boy Owen.
Do we have
Peppo.
sound on the mixer?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure because you got really low.
You
all
got
of a sudden.
Owen Peppo.
It's a little early for Owen Papo.
But KJ is super high.
I love
That's
Papo,
what
but
I'm
it is
saying.
early.
I like
mean,
Noah Sewell more than Papo.
I don't. Yeah, but these are reaches, right? Dorian Williams ranked at 82.
Technically, all the linebackers are, all of these linebackers are
You could take
a reach.
offensive line.
You know what? I'm gonna take.
You got Darnell Wright here too. That's not a bad pick. You got a tackle. I don't hate that pick.
Darnell Wright.
The tackle out of Tennessee.
Doesn't that feel high though?
No, but if you're building up around him
No, his ADP is 45,
and you took corner,
so it's right
wide
around.
receiver, you still haven't built up that O-line for your quarterback yet.
That's not something they do. Didn't they just sign a tackle too?
I don't think so.
Plus, that offensive line performed very well at the end of last year.
Not for the Steelers. Their
Yeah, it
run
did.
game was garbage. I guess the tackle's not going to help you in the run game
My
unless you
thing
get
is,
the edge.
my
but
thing is that the Steelers don't normally draft that high. They go defense usually.
So I mean, but the problem is linebacking. You really don't have anybody that you're not really.
That I
reaching
know,
for.
but I.
What about
So
safety?
the question
Well,
is,
got
do you
Mika.
go corner again?
I could see them going
Corner or
linebacking,
safety
which
is
I like
my
Tyreek
thing.
Stevenson, and then safety,
You got Antonio Johnson
which
and Sidney Brown.
I think we all liked. I think we all liked Antonio Johnson.
I think this is a Steelers thing. You go safety because everybody's worried about Minka. They're a financially smart team. They normally don't overpay for guys.
No.
So I think
mean,
if they can get a
Antonio-
guy to learn with Minka for a year, I think Antonio Johnson
Okay,
fits.
is that
in.
what we're picking?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Antonio Johnson here. I think it's historically this team normally goes defense.
What did I take with the Bucks? I took.
You took Roderick Jones,
Roderick
tackle out of
Jones,
Georgia.
Tackle. So
So at 50, you like you
Tight
said, they have
end,
Jacoby,
guards.
they have Trask,
They don't have Jacoby. They have Baker.
Baker.
Baker, Kyle Trask, tight end Kate Otten. You took Broderick Jones. Mazi's not there.
They need a center.
Well,
Joe
I was just gonna
Tippmann.
say, would
I
you
like
take
Joe
Tippmann?
Tippmann here. It's not a
So
super
they're
high
just,
reach.
didn't you take another?
I took a tackle.
You took
Tackle guard.
Yeah, you took a tackle. So you think they're just going to go O-line?
Yeah, but they're going to build up that O line. So if they know neither of the guys are their guys this year, they can take their wide. Or
You don't
yeah.
think they go like secondary defense?
I could see secondary, but my biggest thing is all you have left in corners is Tyreek Stevenson.
Right, but it's not a reach.
No, but Joe
value.
Tippmann's there too at Wisconsin. Wisconsin's produced some pretty good offensive linemen over the last couple of years. I guess since you just took a tackle, but how often do good centers come up in the?
Yeah, but I don't know if he's like that good of a center. He's an okay center.
Them 78.7 ADP. Or,
I mean,
overall grade.
he's ranked
sorry.
as a top 5 center coming out of this draft, but I just centers in the second round. It's already driving me insane. We have 2 gone, 3 gone.
I guess I can see Tyreek Stevenson here on a Miami. Steve loves him. I know that. He's got a good ADP, 50.8 or 50.9, so he fits this pick right here pretty dang well.
That's what I'm saying. Like Tyreek Stevenson, I don't know how good their corner room is.
I like Hodges.
but I know that they had some
Or
issues in the secondary.
Hodges Tomlinson, but I think that's a little high too.
And then the other thing is like safety. There's another thing, like there's only like 2 or 3 good safeties coming out of this draft in our mind, and Sidney Brown is one of them,
Yeah.
and he's sitting there at 57 for his rank. I don't
They
know.
have
I don't know.
whatchamacallit at safety.
You can also, this is actually a great place to go, Jahmyr Gibbs.
But you have Rashid White.
Yeah, but who else? Rashad White.
Yeah, that's true.
And who else? And it's the second round. I
So
can't believe we didn't even think about drafting him yet.
All right, let's do Jahmyr Gibbs then.
This is a great, that's a great place to go, Jahmyr.
Seattle, Mozzie.
So
Right.
Seattle has to go Mozzie because technically this is the Hendon Hooker
I
pick.
fucked that
Yep.
up. My bad.
Miami. I got to be very smart here with Miami.
O-line.
Quarterback.
Corner.
Quarterback Tanner McKee.
Hooker. Oh, wait, he's gone.
They paid for corner.
Do you see who's on the other side of Jalen Ramsey?
You got
You know what?
Javon Holland,
Darnell Wright. Darnell Wright.
Javon Holland, right?
Hey, Darnell Wright.
Darnell
This is a
Wright.
great place for
Yeah.
Darnell Wright.
A tackle out of Tennessee. I like
Yeah,
that.
you can always slide him in if you need to. Now you got the
Chargers.
Chargers, and you had Anton Harrison in the first round, tackle.
I like Jalen
And that's it.
Hyatt here.
Do you think they need to go defense? Because that team scores. This is the issue. Like, these teams score.
They're going linebacker corner then. Or no, who'd you take? I'm sorry.
You took a tackle. Oh, I took it. This is my team.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I took a tackle.
Okay, so you're gonna go corner.
I think Tyreek
corner
Stevenson here.
linebacker.
I think Tyreek Stevenson here. This is a perfect spot for him.
Okay.
I think you have to go corner at this point.
Now you got Chicago here,
Da Bears.
and we took. I don't remember. We took.
Okay, so you in the first round, I think you took Paris Johnson Jr. Took the tackle, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Paris Johnson.
Paris Johnson's who I took. So you say you like wide receiver, tight end.
I think wide
You
receiver.
don't need tight end.
You have tight end because you have a rookie or a 2-year player now.
offensive line. We took that already. Linebacking, D-back, I could see, but again, you don't have any guys. really
Safety
better.
here would look good. Garrett Williams.
I do like.
Or no,
Sidney
so-
Brown.
Yeah, Sidney Brown, and then you have Garrett Williams, a cornerback out of Syracuse. So, if they really do need defensive back, which we already kind of said, they kind of gave away that entire defense. So,
What do we think? It's between Garrett Wilson and Sidney Brown for me.
I don't know, man. What do you think about taking an edge like Foskey here?
Isaiah, I like Isaiah Foskey. I didn't realize we didn't freaking take him already. Jeez.
Well, it's everybody has him ranked low.
Landry
It's
Carter
another
here
one like
too.
Siaki Ika. Like Siaki
I like
Ika.
Isaiah Foskey.
I like Siaki Ika here too.
Sorry, it's Ika.
Yeah.
Carl Brooks.
This is a rough one because I think Siaki Ika would work there. There's not a lot of interior D line, but you can take Tua Paluto, the edge out of USC too. I just think there's so much they need on the defense that they got rid of last year. You could pretty much
You need outside linebacking, which is edge.
Keanu Benton out of interior or out of Wisconsin. Interior D line.
It's Isaiah Foskey or Tua Paluto. What are you thinking?
Tua Paluto.
Okay,
I'd take the edge.
let's do a Tua Paluto.
You can always move him on the inside. He's a quick
Yeah.
guy.
You got Detroit.
Well, spell that for me.
It's he's like the fourth one. Tua Paluto.
Oh.
Paluto.
Got Detroit. We took
Tua Paluto. I can always screw it up. Tua Paluto.
The drop down menu
we
stayed
took
up.
Brian Breesy, and we took Christian Gonzalez. I think we had another pick, right?
Yeah, you had one early in the second.
And we took
Drew Sanders,
Drew Sanders.
linebacker.
So
So here's where I think you could
you don't
go
need corner, you don't need linebacker.
I think you
don't
could
need
go
defensive
running
line.
back here.
But
Charbonnet could go here.
I like Zach Charbonnet a lot. Or do you go wide receiver? No, you don't. Oh, you got Amon-Ra
Tight end.
Jamison.
Luke Musgrave.
Tight end.
Because Laporta went to Green Bay, right?
Yes.
I'll take Musgrave.
I think he can be a weapon.
Yeah.
I think he
I'll
can
take
fill
Musgrave here.
Hawkinson's shoes pretty well. All right.
Jacksonville.
So Luke Musgrave,
Yeah.
Jacksonville on the clock. Who the hell did I take?
I don't-
Cam Smith, cornerback.
Took another guy in the second round too.
I think Joe Tippmann goes here.
Joe Tippmann
Yep.
center.
I think you can
Okay.
take the center right here, and that's actually probably a perfect spot for him. And you help protect your quarterback finally. Giants here. You took in the first round. You took Steve Avila, the
Okay.
center out of TCU, and that's it.
We thinking wide receiver here.
People will say wide receiver. I think this is another, like, they just traded for Darren Waller. I think the defense has been good, but I think you could probably go linebacker in the third round. I don't know, man. I think whatchamacallit showed up last year at the end of the year. Kayvon Thibodeau.
Dwayne Williams here.
You have your running back.
Yeah, if you look at linebackers,
Did you take Charbonnet or no?
no.
No.
Actually, you know who I'm gonna take here at linebacker is I like Noah Sewell.
Might be a little high, but
Yeah.
Well, all these
we
tight
have him as our
reaches right now.
one of the better linebackers.
Yeah. Or we go Papo. That's another reach.
I love Papo, but like it doesn't mean that he's going to get drafted high.
I'm gonna go Sewell.
I think Sewell's stupid high. They got him ranked at 96.3
Yeah.
ADP and rank 143. So is that who you're going with?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So
We got
we're going with
Dallas.
Sewell here.
Who needs wide receivers?
No, they don't.
No,
they just
they're
got
getting
Brandon Cooks.
yeah.
Oh,
You still
sorry,
have
I'm an
CeeDee
idiot.
Lamb.
My bad.
You still have what?
Gallup.
Gallup.
No,
I always
yeah,
it's
Gallup,
Michael
yeah,
Gallup.
Gallup. So,
but you know what they do need here? Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, tight end.
He gone. Well, he's not gone. They
No.
haven't tagged him, or they can't tag him.
No,
they
they
haven't
yeah.
signed him.
Yeah, they're not, and I don't think they are signing him. They said.
I would go Tucker Craft.
Think they reach for Kraft here?
I don't like Darnell Washington.
I don't like him as a weapon.
I don't like Schumacher or Schoonmaker.
Schoonmaker?
Schoonmaker.
I like Schoonmaker.
Cooks.
That's up to you.
No, you took Tucker. I got Tucker Kraft going there. You're good. I think they probably would go defense, but I think it's still early for linebackers in this
All
draft.
right, Buffalo.
All right, Buffalo guard center defensive back. Who did I have him taking in the first round? I have him taking Osiris, or you had him taking Osiris Torrance.
Yeah.
So I will go secondary, and Sidney Brown is here, and I will take Sidney Brown at this spot. I think.
Safety.
Hold on, don't click it yet.
yeah, Garrett Wilson.
Take
there,
Garrett
too.
Williams out of the
Williams.
cornerback.
You want him
Yeah.
instead?
I don't know. No, I think Sidney Brown. If you need to move him to corner, you can.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take Sidney Brown.
Okay. The Bengals. They have a tackle already.
Plus, God forbid you replace the guy that got
This is a
killed on the
team-
field.
This would be a running back draft pick, I think.
This would be Charbonnet or your safety.
I like Charbonnet here.
Is that who you're taking?
It'd be Charbonnet or Jamie Robinson.
Who did I take in the first? I took a tight end. They always go offensive, though. I think I'm not going to reach on a running back here. I think they got to go defense.
Second, I think safety.
Yeah. Well,
I know not say Jordan Battle's there. Still a little high. What
I
about
don't-
corner? What about Garrett Williams?
I was going to say I'm either going to go Travius Hodges or Garrett Williams.
That's up to you.
I love Travius Hodges, but everybody has him ranked low. I'm going to take Syracuse had a good defense this year. I'm going to go Garrett Williams.
Okay.
Chicago. They had a. I took Tua Tapaluto, and I took
The tackle, Paris Johnson.
Paris Johnson. Is that it? I thought they had
That's
another
it.
second
No.
round pick.
No, yeah, you are Tupaluto. This is the second round
Oh,
pick.
shit, my
This is
bad.
the third second
This is
round
the
pick.
one from San Fran.
Yeah.
So Tua Tapaluto and Paris Johnson. What do we think here?
I think you go corner. You just had corners come off the board. Safety came off the board.
Do we like? How do you feel
Linebacker.
about Eli Ringo?
Keeley.
I'm not a huge fan of Ringo.
I either go Travius Hodges or you got Julius Brents. You got Jamie Robinson out of Florida State, safety. You can go Siaki Ika here, which is just a great value for Siaki Ika. You can go interior D line.
Yeah, Jordan Battle.
You got Jordan Battle. I think, to be honest with you, I think Siaki Ika here.
That's
I'd
what
go
I'm looking at,
I'd
yeah.
go interior D line
Let's
here.
go Siaki Ika. You got Philly.
Now is where I would say if there's
Wide
a center,
receiver, or
if
center,
there was
yeah.
a center, I would take one. But I think I took Tippmann already.
Would this be a team that maybe takes a flyer on Voorhees with the injury? I know he's a guard.
Not in the second. You think a third?
I think third is more your
Okay.
flyer for an injury guy, but Ryan did say he could take it taken high. And Philly doesn't need much. So
Cody Mouch is still there.
I think, yeah, but I don't know if I would take Voorhees over Mouch because
Okay.
you're fine.
Are we taking Voorhees here then?
Well, do you take a running back here? You got rid of Miles Sanders. You
Charbonnet.
signed
Penny. Rashad Penny.
Penny.
And
No, I think you take a running back in the third
well,
if you
so
take anything.
there's Gainwell.
fourth.
There's Boston Scott.
Yeah, I don't think you take a running back here.
I think Voorhees goes here.
Voorhees?
Yeah.
This, I mean, it might be a reach, but I kind of like the pick. So we'll take
And
Voorhees
the last
here.
pick with Kansas City.
I took a wide receiver. I took Quentin Johnson in the first round, and I'm gonna go Carl.
Andre
Bowling
Carter's
Green.
there.
You know what? We'll take Nick Herbig
Nick
out of
Herbig,
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that.
All right. So this is
The draft.
the draft.
All right. Sorry it took so long today. We had to do a mock draft. We were trying to rush through that second round. I think obviously we did no trades.
No trades at all.
We did no trades.
Minus the Green Bay, assuming that Rodgers is traded.
Correct. So no trades at all. I will say that
Interesting.
I mean, it is what it is, right?
Right.
I have to show full results. There it is.
I was just going to say.
But it doesn't come in the same look.
No.
But you have the login, so you might be able to get it.
No, this is the same look.
Does it?
Or assuming that this is the same look as what you're...
It's like a graph or a
yeah.
PA.
Yeah, it'll be hard to show. So that'll be it for today. I think it was a lot going on. I wanted to say something, but I guess I can say it later. Why don't we just give our goodbyes and that's it for the show, because it was a long. We got dragged on at the end of the show because there's not enough people to talk about that second round. Not enough
It gets a little rough.
interjection. So give your takeaways for today, Johnny.
Just kind of same thing from Wednesday. Got to be a Packers fan still. I'm not a fair weather fan, Ryan. Like he called me out on Twitter. And
He called you out on Twitter?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, him and Ryan or him and Steven both said I already got my jersey. So, which indeed I don't. But yeah, I hope that Jordan Love can finish the year.
I never hope bad on a player, right?
Right. Well, I should rephrase. I not that he can't finish. I hope that he can have a productive year, and not completely destroy the Packers.
All right. Wheels, give me your takeaways for today. It's a Sunday show where everybody called off. Give it to me.
It was fun. I liked it. I mean,
It was a good start.
it was a good start. The second round's hard. I think from the show we saw a lot of offensive linemen go where not a lot of people have them, but us as a show, I think we like a lot of these guys because
The
How-
need's there.
how often do you have some of these guys like Paris Campbell, Broderick Jones,
DeJuan Jones is a
DeJuan
beast.
Jones? I mean, there's guys there. I think this is an underrated offensive line class because of how highly touted the defensive side of the ball is being
agree.
taken out of this draft. So I don't be surprised if some of these tackles go higher than we have them. I wouldn't be surprised. And I mean,
Especially
and-
for guys that paid for their quarterbacks
and I know
this year.
some people may not like the Andrew Voorhees pick, but if you look at the kid before the injury, he's a beast. And it's tough to come back from, yes, but like you said, the Eagles really don't need much. They're in that perfect position where they can wait a year for it.
Yeah.
Because
I like that. I mean, a team could take a flyer pick on
Yeah.
him that doesn't need him right now.
100%.
So I'm going to say mine. I asked Johnny for this earlier. $4.8 million is the available cap space for the Browns as up to date. Kareem Hunt can still sign with the Browns, so there's still a potential there. He might not want to be in Cleveland, but if he wants a ring, I think he might think that the best opportunity is in Cleveland,
Stay home.
and you get to stay home and you can retire in Cleveland. Now, the question is, does he want a contract?
Because I believe he lives in Willoughby, too.
Well, he grew up in Willoughby,
Yeah,
but
I went to
I don't
school
know
with-
if he.
I-
Yeah,
I
I don't know
went
if
to
he.
school with him.
I don't know if he still lives in
So
Willoughby.
he definitely, I think he's still.
Hey Danielle, how do you feel about Aaron Rodgers while KJ keeps talking?
Well, I think she watched some of the show. I'm surprised she didn't give her input on Aaron Rodgers. So
She hates him.
yeah, well, I mean, to be honest, I don't blame her if she does, because she lost
do I.
Devontae Adams because of him, and then now she loses him.
Right.
It's fitting. The dude's a diva.
So yeah, it
Sorry, Johnny.
sucks because you lose all your weapons
okay.
when you overpay a guy, and I think she's realistic in that.
And I think
Right.
Lamar can learn a little bit.
Lamar won't learn,
But
because
the
if he was gonna
Ravens
learn, he
just
would have
can't
already
have.
learned.
The Ravens just can't have wide receiver
So,
weapons. So
but what I was saying about the Browns though is that they have the ability to bring Kareem Hunt back. So for all those people out there that are freaking out about what they did to Kareem Hunt, well, maybe there was a potential that they sign him to another long-term deal.
I'm not mad about what they did, though, because of what you have. You have good depth at running back already.
I agree, Danielle.
I agree as well.
Accept it and move forward.
He's the longest tenured Packer in history too.
Oh, he beat Favre on something. All right, guys. Danielle, everybody on the chat, I appreciate you guys watching today. It was a long show, a lot of talking about the mock drafts, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and enjoy everything that's going on out there.
Have a good one.
Welcome to football season.